comfortable doing is building Legos on stream. That would be a lot of fun. Hey, what's up, fanboys and fangirls? Welcome back to another live show, another episode of the What the Fanboy podcast.
Oh boy.
Guys, it is the final show of the year.
Got my Christmas sweater on.
Luke's all decked out over here to my left, and to my right is our
Russell Wilson for everybody.
Super special guest, Easton, from the Movie Moron podcast.
Yes.
Easton, why don't you tell us just real quick a little bit about yourself and your podcast?
Well, I am a local person here in Wichita, and yeah, I just love movies. And 2.5 years ago, I was like, screw it, I want to talk about them. So I just said I'm gonna host my own podcast and just figure out who will do it with me. And it took like 6 months to finally get some stable people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just every week I go and watch whatever's new that week in theaters. And I started right before COVID.
Okay. Yeah.
So that really stunk because there were no good movies coming out.
Yeah.
For a solid first almost year of my podcast. But nonetheless, yeah, we just we talk whatever's the newest movie is comes out on Monday. Try to be Monday morning, but sometimes it's Monday night depending on when we can record. We don't do this live stuff like you guys. We're not quite that advanced.
We are no. We're just crazy. We're a
You
little
are
bit
very
insane,
crazy.
And no, that's awesome.
Pretty sure the reason we did it was so we didn't have to edit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he was telling me. I hate editing video, so I get it. But yeah, that's what I do. That's the podcast.
And
then
people can find that over
everywhere. Yeah,
pretty much anywhere.
it's everywhere. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I've started using one called Podvine because they can you can comment on people's podcasts and like talk to them.
That's awesome.
But they're pretty small, so not a lot of people use it.
Tyler and I have both been honored to be guests on the show.
Yes.
So,
Tyler did Jurassic World Dominion.
Yes.
And I think he did one other one that's...
did he do another one?
I thought so, but I could be wildly wrong. But then you came on for Banshees of... I'm not going to say that. I can't say the word. What is it?
Inertion or something like that?
I'm not Scottish.
Some
I wish I was.
Island or Scottish island. Yeah, exactly.
I think it is Irish. I wish I could, but I cannot speak their language, and it's but yeah, he came over and did that one, which was a fun heated debate between a few of us.
Yeah,
you were kind of our middle ground.
I tried
between me and my co-host, who were throwing punches at each other.
Oh, absolutely.
So, almost like the people in the movie were. So.
That's what you need video for.
That's right.
I'm not sure if it has a video or not, but yeah, that's what it is. So
very cool. Well, welcome to What the Fanboy. Tonight we are gonna be reviewing Avatar: The Way of Water here shortly. But before we get to that, we have to do our weekly roundup, our weekly updates. Luke, why don't you lead us off with what you did this week?
I will gladly go first because mine will take no time at all. I'm just going to give a quick update on Willow.
Yes, of course.
The show is garbage. Tune in next week to find out about episode 5.
So just to be clear, your only update is this show is garbage.
There's nothing to add. I don't even remember the last episode.
Okay.
I've been sitting here reeling, trying to remember what happened. They were inside a castle or something, and they did a bunch of cliche stuff, which is what they do every episode.
Okay, well.
And you couldn't see any of it because it's all at night.
Classic. 2022 TV shows shot at night always works well. It doesn't. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's bad. Bad. Okay.
And I played a bunch of Destiny because it's a new season.
Of course. So. Luke, it wouldn't be a podcast, an episode of What the Fanboy podcast without mentioning Destiny at least once.
Right.
At least. So.
All about the grind, baby.
Yep. Yep, indeed. Okay, moving right along then. Easton, what did you do this week?
Well, I got told I was gonna be on, so I was like, you know what, let's go ahead and fill this weekend schedule of just watching and playing everything. So, first I played a crap ton of Predecessor. If you guys don't know what that is, it is a re-release of a game that came out like 2014, 15, something like that, called Paragon. It's a MOBA. 5v5 towers, League of Legends kind of thing, but it's over the shoulder. It was made by Epic Games,
Okay.
and then they canceled it because Fortnite came out, and they were
Uh-huh.
like, "We're not spending money on anything but Fortnite because Paragon doesn't make us money. Fortnite, on the other hand,
It ended up being a wise business decision at the
very
end of the
wise
day,
business
but-
decision, but somebody that had like 600 hours into Paragon did not like it at all.
Was
Because
Oh, wow, yeah.
I was literally gonna make have they added any of the stuff to Fortnite because it's an epic.
no,
Oh.
no, they only use things that people actually know about. So Paragon was not very big when it died, but this new one came out because there's fans of it, and Epic Games just released it all to free domain, so anybody could use any of the likeness,
Oh.
any of the maps,
Wow.
all of that. So some smaller developers picked it up and were like, we're gonna make this for the fans.
Sweet.
And it's great. If you like MOBAs, it's still in early access, so I think you have to pay $10 to get in. But if you like that style of game, it's brand new. It's a lot of updates coming out, a lot of new characters coming out because it's just starting. So
I just think that's a cool story. You don't often hear about that kind of a game essentially is killed off or dies.
Oh, yeah.
And is brought back to life by the fans at the behest of the the developer is like, here you go. Someone else
yeah, no,
take this on. That's
when it-
really cool.
when it got canceled, there was a lot of really positive feedback from the community because one, they also gave money back to anybody that spent money on it,
Oh, nice.
which was unheard of.
Yeah, that's very rare.
I didn't accept it because I played so much of the game. I kind of want to be like you.
Yeah.
When I spend money on games, like usually it's because I like the developers, I like what they did.
Yep.
They gave me a product I like, so I don't mind spending money on it. But yeah, I'm glad it's finally back. I don't think my wife does because I've been playing a crap ton of it. I think I've already got about 52 hours, and it's been out for 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
It's just my game. You just have that online multiplayer game that just fits you like you do with Destiny 2, and I just can't get enough of it. I'm sure there'll be a time where I do, maybe the 1,000-hour mark or something. But
until then,
until then, and my favorite
You're
character's
strong.
coming out next month. So
Only 950 hours ago.
no, 1,000 hours, and I'm only at 50, so 950.
That's what I said.
Oh, I thought you said 150. I was
Oh,
like,
no,
oh,
no, no.
hold up, I haven't
maybe
played.
maybe I did. I don't
No.
know.
Math. Well, actually, no. Math is your strong.
I use a computer to do math.
Math is also my strong suit, so I messed
I'm
that
the
one
art
up.
guy, so.
I was
Um,
using the calculator before on here to do divide by 2. So
All right, Ethan. What else? What else?
I am also newly to the Game Pass people. So I went straight on Sea of Thieves because I'm usually a PlayStation
Nice.
guy,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I've always wanted to play Sea of Thieves. I think it's the only exclusive that I've ever wanted to play that Microsoft has.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, playing that with a friend, absolutely loving it.
until Starfield comes out.
I don't know if I care too much. You guys have really, really tried to convince your audience that it's amazing, and I'm not quite there yet.
As someone who enjoys not zero, but very few Bethesda games.
I will always defend Bethesda no matter the game they make.
I'm not super hyped, but
Because of
I
just Elder
love
Scrolls.
sci-fi. So
I love sci-fi too, but I think it's just the No Man's Sky stuff
Yeah.
that kind of just throws I think it's a cool concept, but you can only get so many hours in before it feels repetitive.
For sure.
And that's I was somebody that pre-ordered No Man's Sky a year in advance, played it day one. I actually liked it day one, but then I got 50, 60 hours in, and I'm like, okay, this is too repetitive.
yeah,
All the updates came out, a lot was added, but then the same thing is still there. It's still just repetitive.
yeah.
It may be cooler now, but that only adds maybe an extra 20 hours of gameplay. Then you're like, oh, I'm now just grinding to get cooler ships, but that's it.
Yeah.
That they just added fleets and stuff, and you could do a little bit more. But
Yeah.
finally added multiplayer so you can play with friends. But I don't play with any friends, so it's still just me roaming the space by myself in the fleet that doesn't matter. So,
Roman the Galaxy.
yeah. And then I took Tyler's suggestion, and played some Marvel Snap because I am a avid cell phone game person. Because
You're
I
a
have,
mobile gamer.
well, I have some ADHD tendencies, and so it's
Okay.
just something I can do while other things are happening. And so that's a great game to do that because it's I don't know, 2-minute matches.
Nice.
Cool card game. I don't really like Marvel that much at the moment, but
Mm-hmm.
you still get all the characters from the comics and stuff too.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more than just the terrible MCU that we're in. So I think that's cool.
All right.
There is a slight pay to win, but it's not egregious. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been fine, and I think they kind of do some skill-based matchmaking.
Sure.
If you're winning a bunch of matches, you start playing against harder people. If you're losing a bunch, you start playing against some newbies. So, to some TV shows. Wednesday came out on Netflix.
Yes.
Yeah,
Apparently it's huge.
it is very huge. Yeah, it's supposed to be the second most watched TV show for like the opening weekend or opening week or
crazy.
something like that. I didn't watch it until I heard I was going to be on here, and I was like, you know what? I don't know if any of them are going to watch Wednesday, so I'll watch it. I'll bite the bullet here. And I actually think it's pretty enjoyable.
Nice.
I was pleasantly surprised. Maybe that's because I was going in with such low expectations
Sure.
and thinking he was going to be nail on a chalkboard, but
Yeah.
it does feel very Netflix, but if you like Jenna, she plays extremely well in the movie or in the TV show, and it's all very weird, but it plays into it well. I think the writing's very good. It plays a kind of like an investigation
Mhm.
show, like murder mystery basically, which is not what I was expecting.
No, that's not what I would have expected either.
Exactly, and so I thought it's kind of fun. So far, I think the writing is pretty spot on, because they allow Jenna to kind of be herself in the role, and she plays the Wednesday Adam really well. I don't know how much people watch the original Addams
It
Family.
was not for me.
Yeah. not something I watched a bunch, but I have seen them, and I don't know if it's true to the character or not, but it fits the character that she's playing in this movie specifically, and the family that she's specifically in.
Yep.
And it's just about her. The rest of her family's gone, so it's not an Addams Family show. It's a Wednesday show. I think that's just because they wanted Jenna to be in a Netflix TV show.
No,
It's Wednesday, my dude.
Sometimes it pays to simplify, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just, okay, let's narrow the focus. We can tell a more concise, personal story, and
Yeah.
you can really, if you've got an actor or actress who can really
It's hot,
shine.
and is hot right now.
Might-
Like
yeah,
she's there's a huge standing for
Oh,
Jenna
yeah.
Ortega right now. So
I cannot get her off any of my feeds.
social medias, yeah.
It's so annoying. I just don't care at all.
That dance is like by far not the best thing in that show. Like, sure,
But it's like the most
Oh,
visible
yeah, it's the most-
thing.
yeah, it's the most
outside
popular
of it,
thing,
but it's not the best
very.
thing about
I
the
think it's
show.
just it's very TikToky, so
Yeah.
it blows up there and everybody knows about it. But the show is not that.
All right. Good to
But
know.
yeah, so far I think it's I don't know like a low fanboy worthy. If you
Okay.
like Netflix shows, and you'll probably like it quite a bit. And if you like, now I haven't seen like Murder on the HBO show or the Hulu show.
Only Murders in the Building.
Yeah,
Oh, good stuff.
yeah, I
good
know.
stuff.
I-
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Like I said, me with TV shows hard to
Yeah.
hard to get. But if you like also, it almost seems like a teenage investigation like book. That's kind of
Okay,
what
yeah.
that's kind of what they're going for.
Kind of that young adult.
Yeah, and
audience
I think
range.
there will be a lot of. I think that's why it's hitting so good on Netflix
Sure.
right now. It's because it's hitting that audience really well.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know if I'll probably end up finishing it. But then again, I have bad track records with TV shows. So maybe now that I'm done with this show, I'll stop watching it. But I've also been watching that 70 show with my wife.
Mm-hmm.
That came out on Netflix, I think, a month ago, and my wife had never seen it. So I was like, we're watching this. And she loves it. So
Nice.
also got to check out Violent Night in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
Did anybody watch that one?
It's on my actual list of I want to watch it just because I've actually seen it. It's been getting good reviews.
It's getting insanely good reviews.
So I'm very curious what you're about to say.
It's a very fun, goofy, overly gory action movie, and it knows exactly what it is and doesn't try to be anything outside of that.
With
It's
all the
not.
Christmas cheer.
Yes, and there's a lot of really good, well placed and tasteful Christmas jokes
Mm-hmm.
where Santa does his stupid lines, but it's not too much. They do it just the right amount to where like he knows he's being corny, and that's
Yeah.
the point.
Yeah.
They have a cool, there's a cool backstory of why he's there, who he is, and all that kind of stuff. And they don't try to do too much with it.
Nice.
So, yeah, it was a good Christmas movie in my opinion. I think it's very I don't know. I would say fanboy worthy. I think I
Okay.
had it about a 3.5 on Letterboxd.
An enjoyable experience.
Yeah. Oh, very enjoyable experience.
and-
You do have to be okay with gore.
Sure,
It is.
yeah,
It
yeah,
is over. It is R rated,
Yeah.
and it fully goes into the gore of it. Decapitations and full blood, and I mean it's everywhere. So it is very much a violent night, and it's just fun
Yeah.
to watch.
Do they have a version of the Silent Night song that does replace violent with silent?
Yeah, I
Or
think
silent
so.
with violent?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think
then
I don't.
It's a win.
I'm
I
in.
approve of the movie.
Yeah, so
You can see it.
I don't think they play it. I think somebody sings it. So
Oh.
while I think if I remember correctly, I think one of the bad guys is singing it as he's murdering everybody.
At least if I
So-
see it, I'll be able to give it a huzzah in the theater.
There we go. Perfect.
But yeah, that was at least fun.
Nice.
And then a few movies came out on VOD this last week. Bones and All, Banshees, She Said, and The Fableman.
Yes.
And I decided to check out The Fableman, so I paid way too much to watch that movie. And it's good. Did you guys?
Yeah,
Anybody
we
else
did.
watch
we
it?
reviewed
Okay.
that.
we
Yeah.
reviewed it.
I couldn't remember if you guys had or not, but I thought it was good. It was not what I expected at all.
That's pretty much exactly what we said.
Yeah.
I thought everybody said it was like Spielberg's, like him as a kid, like his life. That's what I heard about it. I'm like, that's not what this is at all.
It's
Maybe
a
it's
weird,
supposed to be.
It's a weird thing
influence.
because it feels, I don't know. To me, it was marketed more as like this.
Here's how he became this incredible director.
Yeah.
And that's not what I got at all.
And
No.
It's just
It's
like
like a
family drama.
It's a
Yeah.
subplot of the movie,
yeah,
kind of.
family drama with a guy that like loves movies and making movies, and that's it.
Yep.
Well, I think it was fine.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think
watched
we both gave it.
I watched
you know,
it last night at
I
I
don't
think
remember what we gave it.
I
midnight.
gave it a fanboy worthy. I think, yeah.
That's probably where
I
had
loved
it.
the kid who played
Oh, he did great.
young Fableman
Yeah.
/ Spielberg.
Yeah. Yeah.
I gave it a fanboy worthy as well.
Okay.
It's one that Hollywood and Oscars will eat up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
It probably will.
Probably.
Hollywood loves movies
It was
about
also-
Hollywood.
It was also really weird how heavily they played into the Jewish stuff. I thought that was a
Yeah.
little
I think that being a part of his tradition
Spielberg's.
Yeah.
Okay.
made it a little more.
They just like put it on front stage and
Yeah.
like they were like very like let's show it, which is fine. I just thought that was very
It comes into
Abnormal.
it comes into play a little more in the third act when there's some of that like bullying and stuff.
yeah,
Where,
yeah.
Oh, he's
and like
different. Why is he different? He doesn't necessarily look
yeah.
that different, but it's
Yeah.
there's some religious differences there.
Yeah, yeah. The bullying on on it was mainly what I was talking
Yeah.
about, and they like heavily characterized the characters of like looking Jewish and acting like they like play into the stereotypes a little bit, which I thought was weird. So it'd be like a Christian family, and you just like only play into the stereotypes of it. And they're also in California, so I didn't feel like it was that weird. Like they're all bullying a Jewish guy in California, where I mean that's New York and California, where a lot of Jewish people are. So maybe that's different in that time period.
I'm from the Midwest.
in the
I don't know.
60s.
Yeah,
And we're all Mennonites. So we're
Baptist, woo,
Woo.
go a little bit south there. But yeah, I did really like it.
Good.
Bones and All also came out on VOD, which I recommend to people maybe check out. I didn't watch it this week, so I don't have to go full review, but that was a pretty decent one that came out with Timothy Chalamet.
Nice.
I watched Ticket to Paradise because that came out on Peacock.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want a date night movie, it's perfect. It's fun, goofy, romantic, but it's mid. I mean, it knows exactly what it is. It's a rom-com
Yeah.
with George Clooney and I can't think of the main lady,
Julia.
Julia Roberts. Yeah, and it's exactly what you think it is. My wife ate it up. I thought it was pretty decent too. I had fun sitting on the couch cuddling watching it. So great date night movie if you have Peacock. Yeah, I think I was watching Sunday Night Football at the same time.
Oh
so
wow.
can't remember.
Last night?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was a Saturday night movie, but and then I guess I only got one more thing. Like I said, I played quite a bit here. Um, PlayStation Premium. I was talking to them earlier. You guys have never said much about PlayStation Premium. If you
You just
guys,
make fun of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's they came out with a tier list and it's basically Game Pass. I
Mhm.
now have Game Pass and I also have PlayStation Premium.
Do you have? Is that the second one? Tier 2 or tier 3?
It's tier 3. I have
Okay.
tier 3, which allows you like a bunch of PS5 games, like almost the whole catalog of PS4 and PS3 games. So if you
Nice.
are first like newer to PlayStation, like it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Because you can play. I know they also have PS2 and PS1 games. Like it's a bunch of stuff. And even me, who I've had a PlayStation since PS2, so I've been playing these games my whole life, and I still find games that I have always wanted to play, and then just didn't decide to spend the $60 for.
Right.
Like specifically, I wrote down here: Ghost of Tsushima, Days Gone, Spider-Man, and Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Yep.
Those games, like if I wanted to buy them in the store, would have been $280.
Yeah.
No, $200 or whatever. Because Ghost of Tsushima also had the Legendary Edition in there,
Yeah.
so I could play online with friends, and all of those are like booyah,
Yeah.
5 out of 5. Ghost of Tsushima is one of my favorite games of all time. I platinumed it. I
So
platinumed
good.
Days Gone. I platinum Spider-Man, and I'm not a platinum guy.
Yeah.
I don't platinum games unless I love them, and I played all of those within the last couple months because of PlayStation Premium.
Yep.
If I didn't have PlayStation Premium, I wouldn't have had them. I wouldn't have got to play those games. So I suggest checking it out.
That's awesome.
It's a lot of fun. Game Pass is good too. Don't
Mhm.
get me wrong. I mean, I got to play the thing that we're going to talk about together
Yeah.
because of Game Pass, which was pretty fun. Which was High on Life, right?
Yes. Yeah. This is from the co-creators of Rick and Morty. It is, and it feels.
Yeah, I was
very
about to say
much
it feels like it.
It very much feels. I was telling Luke, it kind of feels like it could even be in the Rick and Morty universe in a weird way.
It 100% feels like it's in the Rick and Morty.
So I don't know.
universe.
I got about 4 hours in. I don't know how much you got to play.
I don't know. I don't count hours, but I'm pretty sure I'm probably 6 to 7 hours in. I have 3 guns, if that means anything to you.
I have 2.
Okay, so I
I'm
made a little
I'm
bit
in the
past you.
jungle area.
Okay.
Oh, I guess, but you could do things in different orders.
Yeah,
so.
you can. I got the 2 bounties, and I've moved on from the 2 bounties.
Okay, I'm on the
So,
second
yeah.
bounty.
So, okay, so you did I did it backwards. I did the other one first. So you did the desert planet first.
Yes.
Yeah. See, I
Yep.
did it the other way
Yep.
around. But yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
I think it's I think the humor is by far the best part, but it's a little few and far between. You kind of have to like get through the gameplay to get to the funny bits.
It definitely feels like a simpler. The gameplay feels.
It's super simple, but then
it's-
also overcomplicated. Like
Yeah.
they're having you do like you have to use. I guess you've only gotten 2 guns, but
yeah.
you eventually will get 3 or 4, and you have to use all of
All
them
of them.
like at different times.
Mhm.
And it's just trying to be like a cool, almost platformer.
Yeah.
But it's a little like they're trying a little too much to like, okay, well, our combat's a little boring, so we've got to throw something else in there to make it like not like unbearably dull.
Yeah.
And so they throw these other things in there, and it just feels like I'm trying to juggle too many things at once just to get across this thing.
Yeah.
And they don't tell you much.
Yeah. I've had. I mean, the most fun I've had with it is just I'm the kind of the kind of player that just likes to explore.
Yeah.
So, I'll get in a fight or whatever on a mission, and then I'll just spend some time walking around, and I don't even remember the character's name. The Morty, whoever the voice,
Yeah, yeah.
Justin Roiland, the gun
Yeah.
character.
I know the shotgun's Gus, and the
Um,
other one's Riz.
But they have some fun dialogue.
Oh,
Back and
yeah,
forth,
it's
and
great.
and you can actually increase the amount of dialogue they.
Oh, you
kinda
can
spew
increase
at
it?
you.
Oh. It just asked me if I wanted to turn it off.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't see increasing. It just said you can turn off
Yeah.
the like non-essential
Right.
dialogue.
Dialogue.
So, because the gun's talking to you legitimately the entire time.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
almost the entire time. And every time you switch guns, they always have an opening comment that's slightly
Mhm.
different. And I guess you can turn that off if you
Yeah.
want to.
Yeah.
But I think that's
I
kind of the
enjoy
fun
it.
part.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
just say that makes it really unique, and it makes. I think you're right. It makes the uh, uh, mediocre combat so far that I've experienced. I think the combat is probably the weaker part of this game. More enjoyable because there's fun commentary around it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just to the point of like, oh, hey, you can kill these enemies if you want.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't morally wrong to kill these.
Yeah.
He says that to a bunch of different people. Even to like, I'm glad you didn't kill those people, but also like you could have.
Yeah.
Like in the Desert Planet, he says
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm a nice gamer, so I don't like hurting NPCs.
Right.
So every time I come across those things, I always Google it first and say,
See, there was the shot, or there's the little clip of, like in the first level, you run up and there's this kid who like,
Mhm.
kind of badgers you, right? He's like,
yeah, and it's being a little,
pushing you
yeah.
and being a little a-hole.
yeah,
And I had seen in the kind of early access preview videos that you can shoot him and move on, and then there's a little comment. It's like, but it's like, oh wow, you shot a kid. He's like, oh, but it's not a kid, actually. But I just waited long enough that and kind of moved around him and was able to jump over him and get
Yeah.
by him.
That's
And there
what I
was
did.
even a comment that his mother made down there, like, oh, he's been such a brat since
Did you
yada,
talk to the
yada,
mother
yada.
again?
I didn't.
Oh, okay. The mother again says, like, you can kill him though.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like. I would actually rather not have a son
Oh
if you
my
kill him.
gosh.
Yeah.
So
You
I
can-
messed up.
You can you can go and talk to everyone, and that's why it feels like you're in a Rick and Morty episode because
Yeah.
everybody's making comments that are absolutely absurd.
yes.
Everybody's talking about the weird things they did the last weekend. I mean,
Yep.
you're just getting comments 24/7, and you can talk to almost everybody,
Mm-hmm.
all the NPCs, and they all have at least one line that they'll say to you that's just absolutely batshit wild. So it's
There was one that I just bumped into, like didn't interact with, but I just bumped into, and they were like, "Oh, it's been so long since I felt someone's touch," and then I bumped into them again. They're like, "Oh, that's kind of nice," and then like you do it like 3 times, and they're kind of like into it, and then you do it like, and then they're like, "No, stop, please, no, get away from me."
Gotcha.
But this wasn't like it's not like an
You don't-
interaction.
it's not
like
push
a
E to
button.
interact. It's just
it's just a walking
happenstance.
into another character, and I think that's really fascinating.
Yeah, and there's TV shows going
Oh,
24/7.
yeah.
There's commercials going 24/7 that all feel exactly like Rick and Morty, like TV show or politicians talking and whatnot. And so, yeah,
I have had a lot more fun in combat since I've got the second gun. Just
it-
having the variety.
is that the crystal gun? Or,
Yeah,
okay.
the crystal gun.
I got the shotgun first, which is
Oh,
almost
nice.
useless.
Oh,
so.
well, darn. So it's been. I think my hope is
Yeah.
maybe I won't feel the same
No.
after they get the shotgun.
It's
gun,
okay.
But like
The-
the more weapon variety there is,
I think
it
there's 4 total, though,
It
so.
seems like it opens up different avenues for combat that doesn't make it feel so bland. Because the first gun you get is pretty bland.
Oh, it's completely
terms
bland.
of-
The only thing that makes it not bland is the voice acting of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just a pistol
Yep.
that you reload by stroking it. And the handle looks like a penis.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
They try very hard.
It's yeah. They're not
Veiny and
not
everything.
they're not subtle about it.
No, they are not.
But it sounds like you're enjoying
I am
it.
very much enjoying it. Yes.
Do
I
you
did.
think you'll
I
keep
do.
playing it?
I think so. I
Yeah.
do get a little annoyed about showing collectibles that you can't get. I don't know if I'm very much of an exploring the world person, like
Yeah.
apparently you are, and I don't like seeing things that I can't get because I don't have the correct equipment because I'm not far enough in the game. I think don't put me in the world unless I have the items. So
Yeah, there was a few. I think I was frustrated for a couple minutes when I first discovered that I can't get up to that one. Oh, I must unlock something later, and now I just
it took me too long to realize that.
yeah.
I was like
think I
trying
realized
to.
that fast.
I
enough
was
that it
trying to
wasn't a big
jump
deal.
on buildings, and there were a few that I could get to. Sorry, guys, that I could get to. That I don't think I was supposed to.
Yeah.
Because you at some point get a jump pack,
Mm-hmm.
which I didn't know.
Oh, nice.
I didn't know that I got a jetpack, and so I was like climbing up buildings that I don't think
Yeah.
you were supposed to be able to climb up to get to a few, because I didn't know that there was anything else coming later on.
Yeah.
And then there were a few like you spend 5 minutes trying to get to one, you're like, this is impossible, and
Yeah.
then I move away, and then I was just upset, and then I finally realized the shotgun gives you something that helps you get to somewhere. The time
Yeah.
You know, the gun that you have stops time and you can jump across things
You can-
with the
yeah.
time thing. So
Pause platforms and things like that.
yeah,
Yep.
and I was trying to jump across the platforms without the time
Without the
thing.
time thing.
Yeah, and I'm like,
It's
this isn't
impossible.
working. This is awful. Why are you? Why is there a thing over here? So that's also just my problem of being, I don't know, wanting to get everything that's in the area before I move on because I
Yeah.
feel like I'm missing out on something.
I don't often go back and revisit areas in games, so
Yeah.
I understand that compulsion.
Yes. It's hard to fight through, but I'm doing it. So,
Cool.
but yeah, it's
Good.
fun so far.
Yep, I'm enjoying it as well. I'll attempt to beat it, and then I'll have to go beat Control just to make Luke happy.
I also need to be in control.
You should be
Or
in
play
control
it.
to make yourself happy because it's one of the best games.
I know. Okay, so the only other
And
thing
you have to finish
No.
it because it was your assignment for losing predictions.
I know.
You punk.
I kind of have to do it. Okay, so the only other thing
Still
I
got 1
did this week, right?
to not lose predictions.
The only thing I did this week, only other thing, was I watched the Murderville Christmas special, Who Killed Santa Claus. Murderville is a Netflix series where Will Arnett is a detective and brings on a trainee who, like, the actor does not know what's going on. Everything else is scripted. They know that they're here to solve a murder, but that's like they're a detective trainee, but they don't know anything about the situation. This is an hour long, so it's significantly longer than any of the other episodes, and it features 2 guests, Jason Bateman and Maya Rudolph. It is fantastic. I laughed my butt off the entire time. I know it's Luke is looking. It is still there.
Just like autocorrect on an iPhone, don't know if it's Luke or Luke.
But I had a blast with this. This is, if you're into this kind of improv and, you know, SNL-esque skit where people are breaking all the time, it's a booyah. I love it. I loved it. I had a blast. I think the acting's good, good to great. The comedy is fantastic. These are obviously people who know each other very well in real life and are just not afraid to have fun and kick it. So I like it a lot. Very much enjoy it. Thumbs up. Real quick before we move on, over in the chat, Baroque in Roller says, "Oh hey Easton, what's up?"
I don't know who you are, but what's up, dude?
Hey.
I don't know if it's somebody I know in real life.
Well, you never know.
Twitch names. I don't know everybody's Twitch name.
And then JT, good to see you here in the chat today, my man.
You're spot on, JT.
Luke, Luck, Look, or Lure.
So annoying.
Did
every
you watch
time.
Pinocchio?
I did watch Pinocchio. I talked about it a couple weeks
okay.
ago. Or a week.
I thought it was brand new.
I saw it in theaters.
Oh,
This
lucky,
guy.
lucky.
Yeah,
freaking
it was
nerd.
our Glass Onion episode. I had like
Gotcha.
4 reviews that day week. So
I do listen to every episode. I just forget what you guys review. My bad.
Baroque and Roller says, "I've literally been on your show, dude."
Are you? Well, I.
Oh.
Well, you weren't on my episode as Baroque and Roller. I assume.
Leave the mystery.
Um,
Don't reveal.
I assume you're Brandon, but I don't really know.
Okay.
Because I don't know who Baroque and Roller is, but you can name yourself if you'd like, and I can give you a legitimate shout.
I have to say, this is like a real life Murderville episode where Easton doesn't know what's going on, but we're gonna make him.
Well,
guess.
in all honesty, I had 2 guests that were both named Brandon, so it's really just a numbers guess
It's
at
the
this
same
point.
name as my damn Twitter name.
So it's probably Brandon.
Better go look at your Twitter.
Oh, I am.
followers.
But also, I don't look at people's Twitter handle as their names. I'm
I
just
call
getting.
Brett Brighton sometimes
Yeah, occasionally.
if we're gaming.
Yeah, it's Brandon.
Gamers.
Good to see you in here, Brandon. Thanks for listening to our show, but also What the Fanboy.
Yeah, thanks for popping by the stream.
Welcome to the show.
Okay, let's move over to our trailer roundup. Luke, we haven't heard from you in a while. What trailers we got this week?
We got some good trailers this week, straight up.
Straight up.
The first one I actually really want to talk about it. I don't know if this movie's gonna be good. I think we all saw the trailer. The 65
Yes. Adam Driver, Oscar.
What is he doing? What is he doing in this movie? Yeah, Adam Driver and a little girl crash on Earth. And
Yeah.
Supposedly Earth.
I don't-
Sci-fi, and they're fighting dinosaurs.
Somebody said this is just Turok. They're making a Turok movie and just naming it 65.
What was that?
100% here for it.
Know what I thought of? What was the Will Smith movie he made with his kid?
Oh, After Earth?
Oh.
That's what I
It
thought.
was a
of.
very bad movie, but I
Yeah.
did
No,
watch
I
it.
didn't even watch
Fair.
it.
Oh, I
That's
did.
fair.
I watched that trailer and I was like,
I'm pretty sure that's right up my dad's alley of just bad sci-fi, so I'm pretty sure that's who I watched it with. And he also loves Will Smith, so it's all lining up.
that's what I thought of. I hope better than that though.
I don't know. This
That-
trailer looks fun.
The
Thumbs
trailer
up.
was really
Look,
fun.
if we learned anything from me this year with Jurassic World Dominion, if it has decent looking dinosaurs in it, Brett's happy. It doesn't have to be a good movie.
If there's a giant
I'm
robot in
gonna
it, I'm
enjoy.
gonna be happy.
If
does like
if
giant
Adam
robots.
Driver wasn't in this, I would put it as a thumbs down.
Yeah.
But he's in it, so it's in the
I'm-
middle.
He knows something we don't.
It's in the middle for me. I stand
I-
Daddy Adams. So
I trust him way too much to take on a bad project.
he has been in House of Gucci.
Didn't see it.
Okay, well, he's taken bad projects, but I don't think he's ever been bad in a movie that he's been in.
Yeah,
So like,
yes, I
he
would
will
agree
be
with
great in it, but
But it
I have
it's-
no
it could still be a
idea.
bad movie.
Yes.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm intrigued.
Intrigued.
Star Wars was bad.
JG
So I'm
in the
reading
chat.
chat. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
JG in the chat, bringing some hot takes.
Here's a follow-up question that I'm not gonna read the answer. Which one? Because that has a lot of different answers.
Also, I
don't
think
know.
Star Wars is one of those unique things where you sign on. It doesn't matter. Like you hope it's gonna be good, but at the same time, like the track record with Star Wars has always been a little like
Hit or miss. Yeah.
It's a little hit or miss, and so you
Since
sign
episodes
on
1 and
and
2, it's all been hit or miss. Well,
especially with the
5 and 6,
especially with the
4 and
sequel trilogy, it was all up in the air
Mhm.
with the direction that they took it. I say they as Lucasfilm in whole, not individual directors.
we can
But
we can name Kathleen Kennedy. It's okay.
all right, okay. Next trailer.
Did Jonathan Kasdan write those? He writes Willow, and that thing is freaking trash.
I
He wrote
I don't,
freaking Solo, and that's horrible. So.
I don't think it's all Kathleen Kennedy. I think it's just the entity that's Disney. I mean, they get their hands on something and it turns rough real fast.
Okay. Yeah, the biggest problem with Star Wars is they tried to turn it into MCU because it's the only thing they know how to do.
Yeah.
Continuing on with trailers.
Yeah.
One of the most anticipated movies for me next year, and I feel like it shouldn't be, but it definitely is the Barbie movie. Starring Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling. We got our
100%.
first teaser trailer.
Look, it's a great teaser trailer. I love the teaser trailer. I still don't.
You're
care
not on
about this.
board?
No, not at all.
I'm way on board.
I
Not
am
at all.
1000% on board.
But here's the deal. It's just because this trailer doesn't tell me anything about the
It doesn't
movie.
need to.
No one.
I don't
told-
need
But
to know
can't
anything.
it's a little bit like judging a movie by the poster. Like it tells me
I'm-
very little about
No,
the
it's
movie.
like-
me
it's
that
like-
movie's bad.
It's
Nope,
like
I've seen that
judging.
movie.
It's like judging a movie by it has Christopher Nolan as the director and it's got Leonardo and it's
Not as a surefire thing as it used to be,
Uh,
man.
Excuse me, it has Greta Gerwig as the
That-
director,
but
which
that's-
is a step up from Nolan, maybe.
That's
now.
okay. I'm not going to say the Nolan part, but that's what I'm saying. You have a surefire director, and you've got Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling. You've got a great director and two great
Yeah,
stars.
I'm with
There's
you.
no way that that's all you need to get somebody hyped. You could have 0 trailers, and that's basically what they've done. This isn't even a trailer. This is just we know that we're doing something epic here.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you it.
You know what the little
I
teaser
love the
reminds
teaser.
me of, though?
Look, thumbs up for the teaser itself.
Just not the
thumbs
movie.
up. I just don't feel. I can't comfortably say that this made me more excited for the movie. It was a fun marketing thing.
Yeah.
You know what it reminded me of? We got the fun 2001 thing at the beginning.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
hilarious.
yeah.
But the last 30 seconds, I felt like I was just getting live action Lego movie vibes.
Oh.
That's
I
what it
hadn't thought about
reminded
it
me.
that way, but
It
you're
reminded
right.
me of a Phil Lord and Chris Miller movie.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what direction they're going with it, and I really don't care.
Yeah.
Whatever they decide to do, I think I trust them 100%. if it is a live action Lego thing, that's dope. If it's who Barbie's like supposed to be made from, that's cool too. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yep.
so on board. And the
Doesn't it-
trailer is definitely 2 thumbs up.
Oh yeah, big thumbs.
Huge thumbs up.
Doesn't it open on the same day as Oppenheimer?
It's possible.
I think it does.
My guess is
Actually,
those two films have very
listen,
different target audiences.
No offense,
so-
Nolan. I'm going to see Barbie.
I'll do a double feature. I'll say one ticket to Barbie and one ticket to Oppenheimer. I don't care.
What world am I living in right now?
A glorious
I'm
one.
so confused by you tonight, Luke. I love it, but I'm so confused.
I won't. I'll see Oppenheimer. I say Emily Blunt in it.
Thank you.
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
Oh,
100%.
For Luke, 100%.
Celebrity crush, 100%. I would kill John Krasinski.
You would sacrifice Jack Ryan?
Yes.
They are both July 21st.
Okay.
Emily Blunt takes over everything.
Hey,
Gosh, need
I
an
like Emily Blunt too.
Transformers movie.
Ooh.
She
No.
can just voice a Decepticon or something.
If that were
anyway,
to happen, we would have a Decepticon up here
listen.
immediately.
I'm
Why don't
not
we
gonna-
have an Edge of Tomorrow thing up there, man?
Oh,
That'd be
they-
dope.
I
One of
don't
their
think they've
suits?
ever made any
Actually-
toys.
I'm sure there's some
They
models.
barely sold enough tickets to make a Blu-ray.
Okay, that's fair, but I saw it off Blu-ray. I bought it and I loved it.
I saw it in theaters.
I'm very
You lucky
curious.
son of a gun.
Yeah, I'm proud of that one.
Yeah.
Speaking of Oppenheimer, there was an Oppenheimer trailer this week.
Yes.
It looks really good.
Oh, it looks fantastic. Yeah.
Very excited.
I'm a huge. I didn't know you were such an anti-Nolan guy.
Oh, I'm
but- okay.
I just
Okay.
Tenet was such a nothing movie.
I love Tenet, so
Oh.
I think
love
it
it.
would have been good if I could have heard any dialogue in
Hmm.
the movie.
people have that issue with it with really Nolan movies in general, and I understand it, but I don't really have it. So I usually am not having. I'm not having to put subtitles on.
There's a
I'm
really-
just getting old, so all movies sound that way to me these days. So it's just kind of like it fits.
I
It's
watched
like it's just
everything
another
with
movie.
subtitles. Everything with subtitles.
Oh, okay.
There's a really interesting video I watched on YouTube, and it's why Nolan's movies all sound bad. I highly recommend it. I can't remember who it's by.
I think I've watched it.
It's fantastic. He only makes it so you have to watch it in one of the top 5 theaters in the world, 70 millimeter IMAX only.
Yeah.
This specific sound system is what it's designed for. So if you watch it in a normal theater, it sounds like garbage.
Well, I did see it in Dolby, so maybe that's
That
why I
might
didn't
make-
have an
that might
issue.
make
It's
it,
because Dolby
yeah.
Audio is a little bit better than IMAX.
Yeah.
I like IMAX too. Don't get me wrong, but Dolby sound system's really good.
Dude, I think it's like IMAX visuals and Dolby Audio are the two best.
The problem
I
is
wish
they
I could have a
don't pair
com-
them.
I know. I need
Yeah.
a combo of
And that's
them.
what he makes them for.
Yeah.
It's stupid. Nolan's ego drives me insane.
Oh, it's through
He's
the
such
roof.
he's such a prick.
I mean, him and James Cameron, I guess.
Yeah.
James Cameron's been through the roof this last week. Or
But
week
I
leading
guess
up to
if
the
you
movie.
consistently make the best movies, though, I guess you're allowed to do it.
Yeah.
Which they give the people that just go to a normal theater a little bit of a break.
Yeah. But we're circling back here to Oppenheimer and this trailer. I
Yeah.
just really, I loved how it was all centered around just this anticipation for a button push.
Mm-hmm.
And it's edited so well, and I just hope the movie continues that.
I think this is going to be one of his biggest challenges because it's not anything like he's done before.
Yeah.
He's always relied on action, and he doesn't have that here.
I'm just
So
waiting
I'm
for
curious.
the time twist that he puts into it.
See, that's what I mean. It's like there's not that it factor in this movie that everything else has.
Yeah.
I think other than Dunkirk, everything's always had that it factor in it
It'll be
that he is challenging himself with to make work. Not
it may be like Dunkirk and Memento, where it's just we're telling the story out of order
Yeah.
in a way, right?
He's always got to do something.
yeah,
He does.
that's what I mean. That's why I feel like
Always.
I'm interested to see
Yeah.
what he does here. 'Cause
But
it's-
hey, Memento and Dunkirk worked super well with that. So
Yeah.
plus, I mean, it's got Emily Blunt.
that's
So automatic booyah doesn't even matter. only thing that matters. Batman is thrown into a time-slowing hole, then healed from a broken back in 1 month. You're right.
Yeah,
I'm not even gonna argue that. that third movie, which I think is underrated, is got a lot of problems.
Dark Knight Rises, it does have a lot of problems, but I would agree with Luke. I think it's a little underrated. I think it's good.
Last trailer, my favorite trailer of the week was we got a trailer for Across the Spider-Verse.
Yes.
And I cried
Oh.
watching it.
Big thumbs up. Very excited.
I don't know where you're at on the first Spider-Verse movie, but it is my favorite superhero movie, my favorite animated movie.
I don't think anything is ever going to
It's one of my favorite movies. It's in my top 10, so.
I don't think any anime movie is ever going to top Treasure Planet for me.
Mm,
But
good
Spider-Verse
one.
is probably one of my top 5
Yeah.
animated movies of all time. I absolutely loved it. And the fact that I went and watched the movie and thought it was in 3D for the first half hour, I thought was so cool. I was like, am I supposed to have 3D glasses? Like, what is this? And then I watched it at home the next, when it finally came out on Netflix or whatever. Where I bought it, I can't remember. But I was like, no, this is just how they did it. This is dope.
It's
Just
so creative.
Yes.
Spider-Verse is the movie I've seen in theaters most. Saw it
Gotcha.
6 times.
Goodness.
You almost beat my
I'm impressed.
you almost beat my Force Awakens record. I think I watched it just about 10 times.
Jeez Louise.
Big Star Wars fan here.
This
and
was before Regal
Unlimited? Yeah.
So I was
I was-
paying for all my tickets.
I was also doing it before AMC A-List. I should have got the golden ticket. There was a Force Awakens golden ticket you could buy that just gave you unlimited passes to watch it. But
Oh.
I don't think any theater in
Wasn't
Wichita
there
was
a-
accepting
Did
it.
Wasn't there a guy who went and saw No Way Home like every day? It was in theaters to like prove that he loved Spider-Man or something.
I think so. Yeah.
I think someone did it for the Batman too.
I watched the Batman I
Calm
think
down.
3 times in one I watched it 3 times in 4 days.
Wow.
I was watching it with people.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, "Oh, I haven't seen it." I'm like, "You need to watch
Let's
it."
go.
Well, I mean, I don't know. And they're like, "I will go with you, but you have to come watch
We're
this."
dragging you with
That's
us.
how I was with Spider-Verse. They're
Yeah.
like, I haven't seen it yet, and I was like, oh, let's
Well,
go right
let's
now.
go,
They're like,
yeah.
I don't want to pay for it. I was like, I will pay.
I'll buy your ticket.
Like,
I didn't pay for anyone's ticket, but I did get them all to go. I did see Batman in 40X though.
Ooh.
Not a fun experience.
Oh.
I don't like 40X. I don't like getting punched in the back while watching a movie.
I want to watch a movie in 4DX. I'd do it.
No, I think it's an experience for everybody. I think you should try it once on a movie that deserves it, but I didn't like everyone else I watched it with loved it.
The Whale in 4DX.
I think the movie to do it would have been the movie we're reviewing later on.
Banshees.
Banshees.
Of Inisherin.
Yeah, you'd actually get
Just-
hit every time
just
they do
take
something.
your thumb.
Yeah. I was in for a rude awakening when the first scene, somebody gets hit. I guess I don't have to do spoiler free for the Batman, I guess, but
No, go for it. It's
No,
fine.
yeah.
If you haven't seen it now, you
yeah,
Hit
but
the back of the head with a
in the back of the
carpet.
head, and your whole entire seat
Hammer.
jerks you to the left, and
Oof.
you couldn't see what happened. So I didn't yeah, because your head's jerking to the left, so you don't see like the next scene, and then it pushes you to the again because he gets hit a couple times. Like so,
As
every
the
time
old
somebody
man here, my
might get
back-
whiplash.
My back does. I don't need to see the chiropractor the day after I go watch a movie.
oh, there's a bar in there that'll be your car. Yeah,
You mean Titan 8? I'm assuming you mean AE. Titan AE isn't better than Treasure Planet.
I
So
don't-
here's a fun story.
I don't know what Titan AD is.
Titan AE is a very old animated movie.
Oh.
I don't really remember it too much. I haven't seen it.
I mean, hey,
forever.
if someone's
But-
putting it up there with Treasure Planet, I'll check it out.
It's very sci-fi. It's very similar to like he's got a map in his hands or something. I think it's very glowy. It's not
very glowy.
Disney. I think it was Dream. Let's just look it up. Anyway, I remember first seeing the trailer for it and like the aliens show up and they scared me. It came out in 2000.
Classic.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
But it is
So
a lot
did you
like
have-
Treasure Planet in that it failed.
Did you have any other trailers that Luke didn't mention?
I think just Cocaine Bear.
That's right. We got Cocaine Bear this.
I don't know.
weekend.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know if it came out.
I don't know what to think about this movie other than
It's
awesome.
Oh, I'm all thumbs down. This looks like garbage.
Oh no, it will be a terrible movie. This is again a little bit like the
Hit the D.
it's a little bit like Barbie, where like I love the trailer. I have no idea how the movie's gonna probably be awful. I don't think the Barbie movie's gonna be awful. I'm just not interested.
Yeah.
I remember when, like, it first was announced or whatever, we talked about it. I have zero faith in Elizabeth Banks as a director. So
Yeah.
I just saw the trailer. I'm like, man, this looks.
it might be funny and entertaining, but it won't be good.
No, probably not. Probably not.
I don't even think it'll be entertaining. That's my issue. From the trailer, I was very disinterested.
Yeah.
It's like this just has a premise of a bear on cocaine. If you can get on board with that, you might like it. If not, you'll hate it.
Well, let's move over to news then, real quick.
Oh yay!
I think we got a couple news stories this week.
Who's back?
Guess who's back?
Back again.
Luke, who's back?
DC's back, baby.
Back in the news.
Back in the news. And it's honestly just, personally, I think it's mostly good news. We talked about it all last week. Like, there's the big Hollywood Reporter, and there's 4 articles a day about things being canceled and moved on from, or this and that. Patty Jenkins came out and just had a very long letter kind of telling her side of it. Wonder Woman 3 is not going to happen. And it was kind of honestly just even more so confirmed in the week where Henry Cavill is not going to be Superman anymore. And a lot of people are upset about that. Low-key kind of happy. I loved him as Superman. He's a great Superman. But I am so ready to move on from anything that was involved with the Snyderverse because that is just...
There's
such a mud hole.
There's too much drama that it is all wrapped up in this at this point. And as I'm on the same boat. I love Henry Cavill as Superman. I would love to see him come back. I don't know how you make that work going forward with how much of a reset they're doing.
Yeah.
And I get that it's frustrating. Man,
I am so excited for
it's
casting
okay.
news again.
I think I just want to remind people that it's okay for something to hurt.
Remember when...
It's okay to say goodbye to something, let something go, feel that pain.
Remember when
enjoy
Andrew
what you
Garfield,
have that you love, and then let it go and embrace what's new.
Remember when Andrew Garfield was Spider-Man and everybody's really upset that he wasn't going to be Spider-Man anymore?
And we got Tom Holland.
We got Tom Holland.
I'm still on Andrew Garfield, so
Hey,
I would
at
much
least you
rather
got
have
him
Andrew.
back.
That's true.
Got him back
but
for half of a movie.
I'm not a Tom Holland Spider-Man super fan, so
I'm not a super fan, but I think he's
okay.
his
at
movies
it.
are way better than Andrew Garfield.
I don't think that was Andrew Garfield's fault, though.
It's not. Mainly the second one. The first one's okay.
The first one is okay, and the second one is very bad.
This is garbage.
But I just don't blame him for those.
Yeah. But I'm just so excited for the future of DC again. We've got, a couple movies coming out. I'll enjoy them. I'll watch them. We'll see what happens.
I don't know how the Flash is making it through all of this, with all of the drama, with all of the terribleness.
I think they
and then with them apparently totally wanting to do a reset. How do you still allow Flash to be like?
They have to make money from that movie, at least some. Like they canceled Batgirl and they did it early because they can break even on it at least. The Flash has had so much money and so many reshoots put into it. They have to release it.
Just they should have used the Flash as the tax write-off and released Batgirl.
I just don't. Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree. I would have rather seen Batgirl
Because it's just you're keeping somebody from the Snyderverse here. I mean, the Flash is still in Spider, unless they are going to do the. You guys have kind of talked about it with trying to reset the world at the end of
The Flash.
The Flash, yeah.
I'm pretty sure the only people you'll see moving forward will be anybody in Suicide Squad and Peacemaker.
Which I think is great.
Which, know what that means? The Rock will not be returning as Black Adam. Listen, Ezra Miller.
I think he dug himself a giant hole there.
Oh, for
so,
sure.
Yeah.
Ezra
For
Miller
sure.
is a horrible person and a criminal. But I'm really, honestly, I'm more excited to have The Rock gone than anybody else. He's so annoying. I can't take his shtick anymore.
If the Flash is bad, how do you spend all this money? And I don't know. I have a feeling that the Flash might be bad.
If the Flash is bad, it's
They fumbled so many movies in a row.
It's a good business decision to be like, well, see now look who we have in charge. We put someone new in charge. They weren't in charge of the Flash, and we saw that this, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and it was today. James Gunn had another like Twitter thread saying he kind of he didn't pretty much. He called out the Snyder cult and was just like,
Yeah.
these people are pretty mean, and we've been through worse. We're not really going to deal with you. We're
Yeah.
moving on.
It's great.
Um,
I don't know how I feel about the James Gunn takeover, but I'm glad he's just going to do his thing. I
Yeah.
think that's what you need to do. Is
Mhm.
the like. I mean, you can do some fanfare, but you've got to do what's best for the DCU
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
not care what a group of angry Twitter people are yelling
Mhm.
at you.
Yep.
And I'm somebody who liked the Snyderverse.
Yeah.
So, like, cool. We can move on. It obviously hasn't worked.
Yeah.
So
mhm. I always remember when Batman v Superman came out, and that was like my favorite superhero movie. Then I started to think about it, and it's just like, oh.
I still like it.
I still really like it.
Yeah.
Man of Steel is awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of great things that happen in the Snyderverse. Like we got Wonder Woman out of it.
It's
the
just
first
okay to
one.
be done.
It was an interesting time in the age of DC movies. Now we can move on to this.
Wish you could have handled it better and just taken your time, but you didn't. And there's
Yeah.
no recovery. At some point, you just got to realize there's no recovery and move on.
Yep.
And I'm glad they're doing it.
Yep.
I don't know how well it'll go. I hope Warner Brothers doesn't overstep into James Gunn territory like they did Snyder, but
Yeah.
hopefully they learn from their mistake and just let their creators create.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, someone who is already moving on from the DC EU or the DC movie universe. I don't know if what Gunn is doing is going to still be the DCEU or not, but Henry Cavill, who we just talked about, is already like on board for Warhammer 40,000
Yeah.
project, and so he's he may not be coming back to The Witcher, but he's moving on and making
What he wants.
what he wants.
I think that's great.
which is really cool.
I don't know a single thing about Warhammer, but I know he loves it.
Yeah.
I like their cinematic trailers are kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Here's
I-
here's a question: Is Henry Cavill like a curse though? Snyderverse failed. That spy movie he did with Guy Ritchie, nothing happened from it. What was that movie? Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Oh yeah, man. That was rough.
The Witcher.
Here's
is
the
a
thing.
mess.
Mission
Here's the thing.
Impossible Fallout. He was great.
He was great, but
He wasn't a main character.
He's not, but he's not coming back. Don't franchise this guy. Give him a single project. It's gonna do great. You're gonna be like awesome performance, and then he gets to go do something new, and
Why are you still talking about it? Move on already. Yeah, we should honestly.
My bad. I brought it all.
We all good. It's good.
I think
It's
you're right
good.
though. I think he's better at solo projects than maybe a franchise guy.
Yep.
'Cause he was also in Immortals
the character he played
that I
in
really
Man from
like.
U.N.C.L.E.
But
That
that's-
movie was awesome.
Yeah. Okay. It's not highly reviewed, so I didn't know how that take was gonna be received here. But
I loved that movie.
yeah, I did too. So
Yep.
he's in the Enola Holmes movies, which have two. But
Which
they're
the
very-
first one is absolute garbage.
oh, okay. I have them at very, very average.
Man,
Yeah, I think they're.
these guys got on the
they're
show
okay.
and reviewed it, and they're like, "It's good, it's funny, it's all this." And I was like, "Okay, I'll watch it." I hated like every second of that movie.
Yeah, I thought I would not say good at all in a review. I would say very mid, very Netflix mid. It's Netflix just makes things feel so Netflix, and I don't understand why.
They have their one or two Oscar movie they release every year, and
That
that's like
doesn't have
all
anything to
the-
do with
the movies they release.
them either.
Yeah.
Like their best things were Squid Game, which I don't think had anything to do with them, and then Marriage
just
Story, but that was
Bought the
that was just-
distribution rights.
yeah. And then,
It's Noah Baumbach. I mean, come on.
what Marriage Story?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I'm
It's gonna
saying.
be great. Right.
That's what I'm saying. They just grabbed a director that's gonna like
Make something.
he's
good.
gonna make something good, and
Yep.
then you had The Irishman, which wasn't even.
Oh, I hate that movie.
I know, but I'm saying people. Some people did like it, but it's, again, they just got a director that knew what he was doing, and then now with Glass Onion, like, so they can just grab people that know what they're doing and give them money.
Yeah.
But when it comes to their team making something, they all feel kind of the same. It's
Mhm.
weird. That's why they're canceling
Um,
everything.
So over on the other side of the superhero spectrum, in the MCU land, we got the news that Donald Glover is going to be in a Spider-Man based movie.
He's in the El Muerto universe.
He's going to be the villain Hypno Hustler. I have no idea what this is, but I'm excited to see Donald Glover in anything. So
I know less about this character than I did about El So
At the same time, I say that I'm excited. At the same time, I constantly crap on the Sony Spider-Man.
how can Sony
universe,
make
so I don't
such
know.
bad decisions like in their movie stuff when it like comes to gaming?
They're-
like,
So good.
Yeah, not
here's
a single
here's
bad one.
$500 million to make the best video game ever. Oh, we did it again. Of course, you're like they're making everybody crunch a whole bunch or whatever, but like
Oh yeah, because
You can't.
people in the movie industry aren't crunching either. I mean,
it's like double crunch though.
fair. Yeah. I guess at least in the movie industry they have the unions to
To be like, oh, this game isn't going to
kinda
release
protect
in
'em.
March 2023. Well, if it doesn't, we're coming for your kids.
I don't know anything about this Spider-Man universe, but
Oh, no,
anything Donald Glover, I'm for.
Yeah.
So I love
Yeah,
him.
he's
so.
great.
is. Any other news stories?
I've got two.
Hit me with them.
The first one is Sony. It's Sony game related, kind of Sony movie related, I guess. Death Stranding is going to be a movie. Have you played Death Stranding?
Nope, did not play FedEx Simulator. I just saw all the negative reviews when it came out and kind of stayed away. And I still don't even know what the movies or the game's about. I have zero idea, other than the weird trailers we got.
So I've played a lot of the game. I haven't beat it yet. I don't even know what the game is. It is the most wackadoodle,
It's-
crazy thing I've ever played.
Isn't it just super open world though?
Kind of.
Yeah.
It is a FedEx simulator, and I ragged on that game all the time, and I
But
honestly
still
had
have
such a blast.
Yeah.
I don't know how to recommend it to people though. But it's perfect for well, it'd be perfect for a show, I guess, but for a movie universe, it will be insane.
I'm excited to watch the movie of it. I don't know
Yeah.
if I'll ever play the game, but the story seems cool. Just I don't know if I want to
It's
play
like
it.
if you die in the game, you like explode or something because you're this special kind of person, and you have to go to like a World War II beach and fight your way through it to come back to life. Is an aspect of the game, I think.
You think?
Am I right, JT?
You're the one that's played it.
JT is my go-to explain Sony game. But it's awesome. It's also a really pretty game.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think that could make a really interesting movie. If
Yeah,
you give
and
it
it
the right
is
director.
Kojima is doing it. Well, I don't know if he's directing it, but he's
No, I'm
like,
sure he's
helping with it.
It's going to be
so.
an executive producer or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, good director, good cinematographer.
Yep.
This could be a really fascinating film.
And the other one is PlayStation Spider-Man 2 game is going to release in the fall of 2023. Oh, you don't like Kojima? Okay,
Fair enough.
fair enough.
So yeah, new Spider-Man in 2023.
Yep, excited.
Sweet.
I really liked the main Spider-Man game. I was kind of low on Miles Morales, personally.
I played both of them. I couldn't platinum Miles Morales. It wasn't quite fun enough to
I just
explore
hated
it again.
I did not like the villain. It like ruined it all for me.
Yeah. I just don't like how it made you like just redo everything. It
Yeah.
felt. I played them back to back. So maybe that might be a reason why.
Mm,
But like I explored the whole entire city 1,000 times over to platinum the game, and then I
Yeah.
had to re-explore the entire city
yeah.
Mhm.
for Miles Morales.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just keep my like just add stuff. I don't have I shouldn't have to
Well, it was supposed to be a DLC, and they made it into a full game.
Yeah. Which it was also the reason why I never bought Spider-Man, because I didn't want to buy a $60 Spider-Man or $40 when it was on sale, and then another $50 for Miles Morales.
Mm.
I'm not spending $100 on Spider-Man.
And now you got to enjoy both of them thanks
Uh-huh.
to PlayStation
Exactly.
Plus
Premium. Yeah, tier 3 or whatever.
But this Spider-Man 2 won't be day one. Will it? Or is that part of tier 3?
No, there's no
There are no
day one. There are day one trials.
But not day one full
but no,
game.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
No.
I think that's where we make fun of.
Yeah.
That's
Which I
compared to Game
which I
Pass.
totally agree, but I also know that Game Pass or Microsoft loses money on
oh,
Game Pass, and I don't think Sony's in the interest of losing money, so they're just trying to make something that
Well, maybe
still
they
gets
should
people to watch
Stop making bad Sony Spider-Man movies.
it. Their gaming department, let's put it that way.
There we
their
go.
their movie department is vets on losing money.
Indeed. Okay, are we ready to move on to Avatar?
Hold on.
Nope.
We have to do this every week.
Every week is
Well, I have something as he's looking up
okay.
that.
Yes.
I was texting you guys about it.
Mhm.
The Last of Us 3 was rumored to be in production starting Wednesday.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is just a rumor, but we didn't get any of these kind of rumors before, and it's a reliable
source.
leaker. Apparently he's been a guy that leaks movie news all the time.
I think it's one of those interesting things where, like, we all kind of think of, like, of course they have at some level, like, so it just depends on, what level of, production are they actually at?
Oh,
is it
the leak just said that they were literally just getting together to do pre-production.
Yeah.
But like that means that the game is being written
right?
and should happen because we don't know. Like,
Yeah.
Naughty Dog likes to
I
not say if they're making sequels or making another game because
from a business perspective, I think it makes a lot of sense to rush this. I say rush, and I don't mean that in like a do it too fast kind of way, but
to
get this out before a new generation of console comes out, so that you can sell it here, and then you can sell it again on.
Well, it's definitely not what they did
PS6.
last time, which what I was really confused by.
Yeah.
Because the original won every award 1,000 times over, made a bazooka dollars, and they didn't release that a second one was coming out for 6 years. Like it took them 6 years to finally be like, oh hey, here's a Sony conference.
Yeah.
Here's a
they
teaser.
did Uncharted 4 in between as well.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
And there's another IP. They're supposedly working on a new IP that should come out before Part 3. They're just gonna start working on it, which we didn't. Like I said, we just didn't get that before. So as somebody that's my favorite 2 games of all time.
Yeah.
Like, thank
Exciting
you. I'm
news.
just
Yeah.
I don't care when it's coming out. I'm just glad that it's happening because the story needs to end and it's not over.
Yeah.
In my opinion. So
I hope they Last of Us 3 is a game I'll always assume is in development, but also won't believe it is until they announce it. I hope though, if they don't have a good story,
do you not like?
I will love them.
Oh, okay.
But like, if it's not there, don't make it because it's a IP.
Right.
I feel like a Naughty Dog doesn't.
I don't think Neil Druckmann would. I think this is his baby girl, and I think he has a story in his head that he has, and I think he wants to finish it. I hope the 3 is the end, and we get a solidified end of Ellie's story, but could be wrong. They could milk it for a 4th.
I would say it could be a thing where kind of Neil's maybe done after 3, and it being a Sony property.
Yes, stop. If Druckmann leaves, you step away. I mean, do not try to make this game without Druckmann.
If you're aware of the bean counters and how influential they are. But those quarterly reports come around and they say, we need a surefire hit, Mr. Producer.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be that IP.
But they...
Could be. And that's what I like about Naughty Dog, is that they don't just do the same thing over and over again. They do take breaks. Even if it is going back to another IP that they've worked on before, it's not just a churning of the machine.
I think Naughty Dog is okay with saying, like, this is the end. They did it with Jak.
Yeah.
Jak 3, they said this is the end. We're not doing any more, and they haven't. They did the same thing with Uncharted. Uncharted 4, they said this is going to be the last installment of Uncharted.
There's going to be...
I really hope not. It's
a movie series.
As somebody that loves Uncharted, I love Uncharted 4. Like, absolutely love it. I played Last of Us, and then they were like, "Oh, I should check out the other Naughty Dog stuff." Went back, played the Nathan Drake collection, played 4, cried my eyes out, and loved it. One of my favorite games. And then
it's gonna be his daughter.
I know it's what everybody says. I just hope they don't do it.
I want him to do it.
I
want him to do it. That's like the action franchise to me. Like Uncharted 4 had amazing writing.
Yeah,
it was so unexpected.
Yeah,
because I played Uncharted 4 before I played Last of Us.
So you weren't expecting that level of...
I was not. Like I was expecting like bang bang boom boom.
Yeah,
like, let's go.
Or like it's just Indiana Jones. I mean, the 1, 2, and 3 Indiana Jones just felt like, or 1, 2, and 3 of Uncharted just felt like an Indiana Jones movie or video game. Like that's what it felt like, and it was fun.
And then Uncharted 4, it's like, oh, here's some character development.
Yeah. Yeah.
No. And then here's some tears.
Crazy.
And then Last of Us starts, and your tears start, and they don't stop.
Dude, freaking F The Last of Us, man. Make me cry every 10 minutes.
Luke, you have one more very important news
Very
story.
important.
I do. Helen Hunt has not signed on for the sequel.
Not yet.
I'm sorry.
We're gonna get her. I'm sure of it.
I am also pretty sure that like if this breaks in the middle of the week, this will be the first news story we talk about. I'm just
Oh,
saying.
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
By the way,
if
you're
we-
not.
So if we save it to the end of news, you know that it hasn't happened yet. No, we have to remain consistent, Luke.
we do.
We'll always be at
Well,
the
you
end
never
of
know.
news
Like it may
segment.
not be highly reported or anything. I mean, it's Twister. Nobody cares.
That is my brother's favorite movie growing up, and I'm not joking. We watched that movie at least 70 times.
Dude, it has one of the single best lines in cinematic history. Cows. Cows.
Okay. I'm ready to talk about Avatar. The Way of the Water. Way of Water. Ugh.
Yeah, get it right, punk.
My pants.
I
son.
absolutely hate it. Not the movie.
The
The title.
The
Because I
title.
definitely said Way of the Water.
Forever.
Yeah, literally
It-
7 months leading up to the movie,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
the title screen came up, and I'm like, what? The Way of Water? What?
What are your guys' quick little impressions, couple sentence review of this movie? Avatar, The Way of Water.
James Cameron is really good at making sequels to movies.
It's a very generic, but, very poignant on how you feel about this one, but in particular, Easton.
I will have my tweet review of Avatar The Way of Water is a sequel that ends up being a legacy remake more than a sequel, with a decent story that gets overshadowed by its looking more like a video game cutscene than an actual movie.
Ooh. Easton, I like your review. I like that.
I didn't tweet it, so you can't go like it. I
It's
just
okay.
made a...
You just wrote it up here as we were starting the show. I'll read mine. I had a little bit of a tweet thread. Avatar: The Way of Water. It takes some big swings early that I wasn't really on board with, but somehow James Cameron makes it work by the end. The Way of Water retreads the first a little too much, but offers up some new ideas and visual mastery. My biggest gripe is the variable frame rate. I understand the technical reasons why you do it for 3D, but was not worth it, in my opinion. That all to say, I really did enjoy this movie. Like, I may have sounded there like I was really digging on it. There's some minor technical things, specifically with frame rate, but other than that, like, I really had a good time. So,
That's water, one might say.
it treads water, one might say. So we're gonna stay non-spoilers here for a minute. I do think that this, simply because that it is a movie that is coming out 10 years after the original, it gets away with doing the thing that Easton and I talked about, where it kind of is the first movie again. It's a little bit like The Force Awakens to A New Hope, in that there are the same story beats. It's the same themes. It's just told in a in a new
Different
environment
location.
with some same and some new characters.
Which is a dope location.
It
Let's be
is.
honest.
It is.
But-
it really is. But yeah, it I think it kind of gets away with it. I'm kind of okay with it.
I think it gets away with it too, mainly because the first movie is I've got the hots for this girl.
Yeah.
and
There's a
this one
different
is
emotional.
the emotional tug of I'm trying to protect my family. I think just is so
But
much better.
This one also just has I have the hots for this girl.
I'd say it's I care a lot about all of my family members.
Yes. Well, we're
And
talking
one
about a
of
different
them-
character.
It has hots for a girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a whale.
Definitely the strength, I think, of this movie over the first one is that all of those story points can go to different characters. It's not Jake Sully experiencing every step of this again. It's his son, it's his other son, it's his adopted daughter, who all have these moments that are very much inspired by, if not just, copy pasted from the first one. But because each of them are their own characters, you get to experience it in a new way, in a different way, with different emotional ties to it. So I think that's why it works for me.
Yeah. And I do have to say, it was not something that I did not like watching or didn't enjoy.
Yeah.
There were just when I was watching it, then definitely when I started thinking about everything later on, I was like, oof, like this kind of feels like the same thing that we did with the first one. We're just doing again in a different location with a few different characters, but they're all doing the exact same thing. They're
Yeah.
trying to adapt to this culture that's a shock to them, and they're not being accepted, and they're having to fight through that. So, I personally like the first Avatar a little bit more
Yeah.
than this. But I'm extremely excited about whatever this 6 movie long series is going to be,
Yeah.
because it's enjoyable nonetheless. It is a blockbuster through and throughout that
Mm.
I will definitely go and watch in Dolby every single time and enjoy it,
Yeah.
and then gripe about some of the issues later on as I'm
Absolutely.
thinking about
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
Isn't that what we're supposed to do, right?
I think so.
Analyze everything.
Sometimes I don't do it well, but
What were some of your guys' pros? You have some positives to speak on. That would be non-spoilery.
Literally anything that takes underneath the water.
water was absolutely beautiful. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know if it was just like there were some obvious CGI issues here, and I don't know like if they spent so much time with the water that they couldn't spend as much time with some of the action scenes.
Mm.
So
But- The water was phenomenal.
there's only one CGI thing that I think is bad in the movie, and it's because everything is so good. And I talked about it when we rewatched Avatar in IMAX. It's fire.
Oh yeah.
Water has gotten really good. Fire is not.
Yeah.
And there'll be an explosion, and it's just like, oh. It's like if it was in any other movie, it'd look good.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But like, I'm looking at things that aren't real that look.
Yeah.
Like the texture on their skin and the whale that dude is hanging out with, like you're just like going up beside it and you're seeing like all the just the lines.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what the freaking
Yeah.
heck? This isn't possible. I was just so filled with wonder the entire movie, honestly. Like I feel like I missed stuff because I was just going, what the freaking
I think Cameron is just one of those directors who knows how to capture awe. In
I think that's what I love about him.
I
too.
yeah, I don't think
Think-
there's another director who does it quite the same, because I think of directors like Christopher Nolan or Steven Spielberg, and they capture like wonder. I know this is gonna sound really weird and really semantic, but like I think they capture some kind of wonder in the imagination.
Just makes
But
you go, wow.
but Cameron makes my like jaw hit the floor in like this. Oh my, like wow.
He makes me think he really did go to another planet and film it.
Yeah.
But like Cameron's biggest flaw though is his dialogue.
Mm,
His dialogue has never been great.
yeah.
I'd say.
Oh, no,
He's
no.
always like even in all the avatars, Terminator, Titanic, which is garbage.
Wow.
You'll like there'll be characters talking, you'll just be like, that was interesting way to say that. And it kind of comes across goofy, but I immediately forget because then they show me an alien whale or an alien jellyfish. It's like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. I like that for that. And it's my favorite part about the first Avatar, and it's my favorite part about the second Avatar too, which is the thing that's the same in the movie, which is, hey, look at this culture.
Yeah.
It's just I find it so interesting. Like
I-
watching a documentary almost.
I think this movie in particular, but Avatar 1 to a certain extent can get away with some of those dialogue weaknesses he has because of a language difference. You know, they can
Mhm.
when they can speak in Navi and they can have the text pop up there, but they can really refine that, and as long as the performer is convincing in their delivery, it could be an awkward line, but they're saying it in such a way and in a different language that I can still feel it. And I feel like in this one there was less dialogue. I don't know if that's accurate, but I think because of how good the mocap has gotten, Cameron can rely on those facial expressions to drive home some of what he's trying to communicate without just telling us.
You can
it's
have
a,
the
it's a show. It's a
actors-
show, not tell.
Yeah.
You can have the actors actually give a performance.
Yeah, yeah. Which to a certain extent he was able to in the last one, but I think it's so much better.
Yeah.
This one.
And I don't know what you guys think about it. Personally, I thought everybody was really good in it. I don't think Sam Worthington is really that amazing of an actor, but I think he's really good in this.
I like Sam quite. The only person I did not
He's like Jay Courtney. You
Yeah.
give him like that starring role, like outside of Avatar. It's just been like, who's this guy? But like you give
He's
him
fine.
like
Good there.
my watch is fine. You give him like a supporting role, and he's much more of a supporting role in this. Mainly
Yeah.
because this is an ensemble, not just hey, it's Jake and Natiri falling
Yes.
in love and saving the people. Like this is you spend a lot of time with the kids.
Yep.
I freaking loved the kids. I
Yeah.
thought they were awesome.
And man, I really appreciated and liked the dynamics of kind of the variety of the family. You know, a daughter who's adopted, a human son who was abandoned.
Yeah.
Along with their natural born children. This wasn't just two brothers who are
Conflicting.
are in conflict. This is where am I from? How do I belong? Do I belong? I think it's fascinating that one of probably the main character of the movie, one of the sons, is the one who feels the
Like an outcast.
Yeah, he feels like an outcast. He's like a blood relation to Jake Sully,
The chosen one.
the chosen one, the great warrior, but he cannot find his place.
Yeah.
And this movie is him figuring out what is my place in this family.
Mm-hmm.
Really good. Liked it a lot.
Yeah. The only character I thought that was actually like not very good acting wise was Spider.
Oh man, I liked Spider.
I thought his first half performance was really rigid.
Mm.
And I think it got better later on, but I still don't think it was ever great. And it may just be because he was just
I think once he starts hanging around a different crowd in the movie,
He gets way more interesting
Yeah.
once he gets
taken.
yeah.
taken.
It just seemed like
Uh,
but
just rough acting in my
Sure,
yeah.
from the first
It's fair.
half. It just felt a little dull. Because he was just trying to be this animalistic character,
Mm.
and it didn't feel like it was really translating very well.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
And then-
I think part of that too, at least with me, is like you're watching a human act like a Navi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it comes across weird because like
Yeah.
if I walked around going like
Yeah.
all the time, be like, what the freak?
And it just kind of
crap is
looks
that?"
cringy too.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that might have
Yeah.
been some of the issues
Mhm.
there. But that was the only one everybody else I thought was really good. The one good thing I do have to say about the movie, other than it just being extremely enjoyable and the water looking fantastic,
Yeah.
and the volume shots for the most part being really good, was the family aspect definitely pulled this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what kind of kept you engaged and was really solid. The best writing in the movie was the family dynamics and how they cared for each other, and even though things weren't perfect within them, they still, stick together and all that. I thought all that was the best part about the plot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There was some rough stuff in the plot.
Oh yeah.
That was its best.
Yeah.
When it all just boiled down to them, and a strong family, and I thought that's good.
Yeah.
And it's good to show that in movies.
Yeah.
Showing good good strong families that have issues
Mhm.
and go through them is good. So yeah, that was the one really good thing I have
Yeah.
to say about the movie.
The other thing I have here on my notes is it's very simple. It's the visuals, and there's obviously lots of aspects of visuals, but the fact you were talking about Spider earlier, and the fact that I never
Question if he was in the
It-
environment.
was
was
phenomenal.
really good. Yeah.
I'm like,
It's like
this
a
is
com-
clearly this is not a CG human.
No.
This is someone that they photographed, right? They videoed.
Well, I
this-
assume he was just acting
with them.
with them as
With
they
them,
they were in
yeah,
mocap
But like
suits.
the fact that everything else,
Yes.
the
Maybe-
entire environment around him.
That might
was
also be
CG.
why his
It's
acting's a
just-
little rougher because
Maybe.
he's
They might have
standing
done-
at.
I imagine they did one with all of them together, one with just him and one with just the mocap, so they could have all the different plates and
It's
everything.
gotta
which
be, that's
maybe-
gotta be crazy.
the movie
insanely
sounds-
hard
Yeah.
to just stand in a room and act like you're talking to a bunch of people. That's what
Yeah.
Star Wars had an issue with.
Yeah.
Not to go to Star Wars again, but the the prequels, that was one issue there, is because they were just acting to nobody
Yeah.
because of all the CGI stuff. So
Yep. What about some real quick? Unless Luke, did you have any other positives you wanted to mention specifically?
I have two real quick.
Okay.
I'll just mention one of them because I think it's one of your cons.
Ooh.
I can leave it in. But a pro I had was this was a 3 hour and 12-minute movie, and for me it flew by.
doesn't feel like it. No.
The credits were starting to roll, and I was just like, I didn't even have to feel like I could go to the bathroom once. We saw it with your work friend Ian. He leaned over to me and he's like, "Man, who was talking behind us during that movie?" And I was just like, "What?" Like I was locked in the entire time, and like I'm a huge advocate for the first Avatar. This was my most anticipated movie of the year, so I was just wasn't gonna let some kid behind me my
ruin it.
experience.
Yeah, for sure.
Which made me super happy. The other I shouldn't call it a positive. I guess it's just not a negative for me because you mentioned the frame rates. There's multiple frame rates in the movie, mainly during the action sequences. I did not have a problem with them, and I'm guessing I'm one of the few.
I don't think
I don't-
you're in the minority.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Every review I've seen has been through the roof for 4 to 5 stars, and not a lot of issues with it.
Even people I've talked to who haven't loved the movie, I've asked specifically about frame rate stuff, and they're like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah, it's probably something only we would notice.
Yeah.
But even myself, like, I only noticed it in the first couple, and I just got
You maybe
used
just
to
got
it.
used to
I
it.
just got used
Yeah.
to it, and it might have helped that I went and saw the re-release of
That's
IMAX,
true, because
and
you
they
had
did
seen
that.
it in the you
They
seen it
did
in
that. Me and
48
Tyler both
before.
like, what was that? They did it like once, and we're just like, that was weird.
Yeah.
And it looked so much better in this one, and
Yeah.
I think that's why it didn't bother me. I kind of expected it.
Yeah.
It does look different, and I think it helps I don't know how. I think it helps the 3D a lot. It might add the video game kind of look to it because you're getting lots of frames.
Yep.
But I think the counter to that is messy 3D blurriness, which is a lot of the original Avatar. Like 3D is amazing, and then you get these fast action sequences, and like you're looking at like this right here, and the rest is like different angles and blurry, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
And I feel like I think what he's going for, maybe. I researched nothing on this. This is me just talking out my butt. I think it helps.
You did it to
a
me
good look
earlier.
down there. Well, you said yours was gone. I had to make sure. Can't let that thing go away. Hey, good night, JT. Thanks for stopping by. I think it added a lot of smoothness to it and made it just easier to watch.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Because I think you're absolutely right. There are legitimate and real benefits you get if your goal is to film this in 3D.
I think he tried to. I
Yeah,
think that
oh,
was
yeah,
that was
that
his
was the
goal. Is he
goal. That
wanted
was
to
the goal.
release this. He wanted 3D to be a thing again.
Yeah.
Just for this movie, and then it'll go away again.
So, yeah, until
Until
Let's hope
Avatar
so.
3.
Until
This
3.
is the only movie I will watch in 3D if I'm allowed to.
But I would agree that I think the 3D aspect of it looked great. It was just the weird. I didn't get the kind of motion blurring that I was expecting, and so it felt. It felt a little off.
Mm-hmm.
So and yeah, as someone who plays enough
yeah.
video games to know what cutscenes at 60 frames per second look like.
Heck,
Yeah.
even now
It just-
we're bumping up to
120.
120.
Yeah.
All those gamer nerds going crazy on there.
Yeah, yeah.
And then there's me over here that like if it's above 60, I don't notice. I don't notice. I'm too slow. So I'm bad at video games.
I don't really care too much unless it like really, really drops
Right,
to
yeah.
like
I always-
22 or something,
Yeah.
and then just, you're having a hard time moving around and that kind of stuff. But
Yep. To speak to your point earlier, Luke, about the runtime, I did feel it particularly at the beginning. The movie is doing a lot of catching us up,
it's moving fast. Yeah,
and so it just felt like it could have probably jumped in. For me personally, it could have jumped in like 15 minutes into the movie. Like I didn't need all the
Didn't need all the
extra backstory stuff, but
and the backstory stuff. It doesn't recap anything that happened in the original Avatar.
it's just getting you.
It's
like,
just
here's where
catching
we're
you
at
up
now.
to like we're 10 years down the road.
Yeah,
We got some kids.
Yeah,
yeah.
and
you
then
can walk around with kids, and I'll assume, but part of it's also probably narration. I'm not a huge fan of narration. And
to start,
there is a
yeah.
lot of narration in this because it's Jake telling you, and
Yeah.
that's in tradition of the first movie. The first
Yeah.
movie did it too, so I get why you would continue
Mhm.
that, but I don't know. I did feel this 3 hours a little more than Luke did, and that's okay though.
Yeah.
It's okay for a movie to be long.
I-
I don't hate it.
I didn't feel it either. I thought that I knew the movie was wrapping up,
Mm-hmm.
but it didn't feel like I just trekked through a 3 hour and 15
Mhm.
minute movie,
Yeah.
which is good. 3 hour and 15 minutes is a rough runtime, and if you can make it not feel like that, that's a bonus.
Over in the chat, Baroque Enroller,
Mhm.
Brandon, I think,
Yeah.
says, I could have used 30 more minutes of underwater stuff. Absolutely. Just because it's that gorgeous.
So pretty,
It's
man.
so good looking.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And then you got the music and
I was a little... Here's maybe a hot take.
it's not.
Here's maybe the
I know
hot
what you're gonna say.
take. I felt like they reused a little too much of the music from the first one.
They did.
I think it's fine.
I could have
this
taken
is
more of like, hey, we're in a new area theme.
Yeah.
Maybe a toucan theme with the whales.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, when the whales are showing up, this is their theme because they're kind of important.
Yeah.
Big deal.
But
I
yeah,
agree.
a lot of it is reused James Horner music, or at least composed.
Yeah.
Just slightly different.
Yeah.
So I actually didn't mind it because I like movies that have kind of a theme to
Mhm.
them. Like this is a franchise now,
Yeah.
and so they've got their sound now. It's you don't have John Williams writing this or whatever, and so maybe that's the difference is you don't have somebody that can tie in those those same notes and make it feel like it's
Those leitmotifs.
yeah, and make it feel like it's still the Avatar theme while
Right.
also being a completely different, like a completely new song
Yep.
for the whales or for the tribe that they, a specific tribe that they go to or see. Like
It
nobody
ain't,
has
it
their own.
ain't
Like,
easy, that's for
Yeah.
sure. And I understand that what I'm asking for is a high ask.
Yeah.
I'm just like, if it's the most expensive movie ever made, why not?
yeah,
Why not?
Yeah.
Okay, let's real quick before we move into spoilers,
Spoilers?
because we need to move into spoilers. What is your guys's
Who did it?
what the fanboy, rating of Avatar: The Way of Water?
yes, you did.
Curious.
You're getting there.
Easton, you want to go first? Lead us off.
Yeah, I think this is fanboy worthy.
Yeah.
If blockbusters are up your alley, if Avatar was up your alley, then you'll absolutely love this. And if you think Marvel's CGI stuff is good, then this will be a whole new world.
you away.
Yeah, this will blow your mind. And it's so much better. I have issues with it for sure.
Yeah.
But that's just because I don't know. I have issues with it and hold it to a high standard, just like I do Marvel, and that's why
Yeah.
I crap on their CGI all the time because you should be able to make it better if you're spending $500 million or $300 million or whatever. So,
Fair enough.
but yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun, and it's all the issues I have definitely don't draw it down to a Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a fanboy worthy.
Sounds good. Luke.
I give it a booyah.
Ooh.
I knew it. I knew it was coming.
I
Seemed
just
seemed like it was trending that way.
Yeah.
I think everybody, first of all, this movie is like, this is one you have to see in theaters. If you just
Yeah.
watch it at home, it will not have the same effect.
Give James Cameron those $12.
Yes.
Yes.
Agreed.
I think anybody will watch this movie and they'll just be like, wow. You might think the story is okay, but I still think you'll like it, just like from the pure fact alone of how it looks.
Yeah, it is a little bit like like Jaws or even the first Avatar, where it's enough of a cultural, or at least in the movie, in film, in the industry, it's enough of, I think, a technical turning point that it's worth seeing in theaters because it is an experience that you're not gonna get at home.
No. Not unless you have a $20,000 home theater.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I think only Cameron and Nolan have that.
Oh no, I know people.
20,000.
Yes.
I need to know more people.
I've only been able to
And-
watch one movie in there,
and
but
then get invited.
yeah.
But then that's the other challenge. But yeah, no, I totally get that, and
And
yeah.
I loved it. There was only really one thing I didn't like.
Yeah,
So,
Fire.
or not even like didn't like, just was unfortunate, I guess.
sure.
I'm such in a gray area with all my pros and cons.
That's yeah.
I
no,
didn't
that's fine.
dislike it.
I'm gonna give it a high fanboy worthy. I don't know if there's quite enough there to bump it up into a booyah, but a lot like Luke, my pros and cons, they're pretty like a lot of my cons are pretty nitpicky. But there's some gray area stuff there that I think just for me can't quite bump it up into a booyah. But I really enjoyed it, and I definitely recommend people seeing it in theaters. So yeah. Should we talk spoilers?
Yeah,
Is that cool with you guys? Is that cool with you guys in the stream or on YouTube or the podcast or whatever? If you're not into spoilers, if you haven't seen the movie yet, feel free to turn us off. I'm not offended. Go watch the movie and then come
I'm
back
offended.
and okay. Well, Luke can go away. No, actually, don't because we want you for spoilers here. We've kind of talked already about how a lot of this is. It feels like the first movie. I think the first big thing for me was Partridge coming back.
Yeah.
Then I was not on board with it when it happened, but this is that thing by the end because of his relationship with Spider, I was kind of okay with it.
By the end, I was still not okay with it. You can't have the same exact. I mean, this is Palpatine has returned level. Bad.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it. Yeah.
I'm just saying that's what you're doing. You're saying you can't find another villain in this, and you're just gonna bring back one because you have
and it's,
some sort of emotional like revenge
Yeah.
tied to it. Don't do it on the first, like, or on the second. Like, if you're gonna pull this back, pull it back like 5 movies in or something. I don't.
Sigourney Weaver's coming back.
I don't say ever. Yeah, she is. Yeah, I don't say ever do it. Well, Sigourney Weaver was in this.
Well, yeah. Her actual character.
Yeah.
She's gonna be playing 2 characters here before.
I don't think you ever do it. I don't think you should ever bring them back.
Yeah.
But if you do, you don't do it on a 13-year break. This is the first movie you've got back to bring us back to your movie, and you just have the same exact villain that doesn't feel much different.
No.
And that's one of the issues. Is just same villain.
So I disagree a little bit.
Yeah, that's okay.
I do think he feels different because
He's a clone in blue.
no,
Raise a clone.
the fact his son adds a completely different dynamic to this.
Yeah.
Because if it was just I'm back, I'm bad, and I'm hunting for Jake Sully, whoop-de-doo.
Yeah.
Like, I agree. That's not very interesting.
It made the first third of the movie of his character in the movie uninteresting. But I think
Yeah.
I agree. As soon as Spider and him get together,
like,
And
I'm expecting this to be...
it
Yeah.
adds something to it.
No,
Maybe not enough. But
Yeah, no, I totally get.
You get to the
angle.
end of the movie, and it's Spider's got a knife to his throat, and he's got a gun to his kid or whatever, and it's just like, I know how this is gonna go. I've seen it 1,000 times, but like throughout the movie, they build up that he like might care about him a little bit, and he isn't sure, and he doesn't want to, but he does, but he's not his son, but he is, and then he like let him go so he could save his son. Honestly, like, I did not think he was gonna do that. I thought it was gonna be the classic, because this movie's full of tropes, full of
Yeah.
them, like every single one. But like, he saved his son, and then that leads to his own son being like, I don't know what to do. Should I save him? And
Yeah.
I think it leads to a super interesting dynamic moving forward.
Yeah, especially since he survived. And
I always talk about characters making interesting decisions. Spider saving Partridge, but is my parent pronouncing that right?
Hold on,
Quaritch?
let me look at it.
Um,
We'll go Quaritch.
Quaritch, saving Quaritch, but then at the end, not accepting that call to come with him.
Mm-hmm.
He's making 2 very interesting choices there because they're diametrically opposed. Typically, if you were to save someone who you consider kind of like a father figure, you would expect them to go with them. Or if you're gonna leave them, why not just not save them? But you see that emotional tear in Spider that I think going forward is gonna make him a really interesting character.
Yeah.
So Baroque Brandon says, I really hope Quaritch dies for good at the end of 3. Quaritch is going to be a good guy by the end of 3.
I know. That's also just something I dislike with just maybe Hollywood in general is you can't have a true bad guy. They've got to
It's a
always have.
Disney thing right
They've got to
now.
have a redeeming quality that makes them not wholly bad. And now I understand this is a clone, so it's supposed to have so the original human was bad
Right.
through and throughout.
Right.
But yeah,
I just like throughout the movie, I found it super interesting that he was doing everything like a Navi would.
Yeah.
And then I think at the end he says to his son, "We're not the same species." He considers himself a Navi now.
yeah. Well, he
I-
pretty much is.
Yeah, like he talks like them. He did all their customs.
Well, he's also never lived as
He-
not one.
he caught.
He's just
yeah.
a consciousness of
Yep.
So.
He caught Necron like they did. Like, I just thought that was super interesting. I think it's a really well done turn. And I
No.
agree. We're afraid to do villains.
Yeah.
And it is very annoying, especially in Disney movies.
Yeah.
Every single one.
Yeah.
Like, I think this one, though, feels earned because it's not just. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like there's some development that we're
I can
going
agree
to
with
be
that.
going over.
Well, and at this point, I mean, we're all
We got-
making the assumption that
Oh,
he's
yeah.
going to turn.
Whether it happens or
But
not,
in this movie, he did not.
yeah.
And then we make
he's
that
still
very
bad.
clear.
Well, we don't really know.
And we don't. And it could be one of those things where maybe he's just conflicted, but he still ends up being the bad guy. And I think that would be very fascinating.
either
if he-
option,
if he
either option they
doesn't-
go to is fine.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. They can make either one work.
It was
so.
just another thing in the movie that felt like the same
Yeah.
as the last. And
Yeah.
so it's just when
Yeah.
you're starting to pile the things on of like the same tropes, same enemies, same storyline, people doing the same actions, just maybe
We had another priceless material that pays for the entire expedition.
At least it wasn't like a focal point of the story this time, though.
it's true.
It's
This
true.
one felt so much more like we're driving a point home of we do not care like about this whale we just murdered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, personally, loved the whaling / poaching subplot right
Yeah.
there because it's not talked about enough. F-
Yeah.
that.
It was 100% a full on shot at poachers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I feel like just they didn't focus on the unobtainium moment. Like, oh my gosh, I freaking hate that name so much. But they're just like, this is all we take. Like, it's more about like this is the action we do to get this. Not let's talk about how dumb the name of this rock is for 30 minutes.
Let's also
Yeah.
talk about how $80 million would not be enough money
Would
for
not-
any of that to be worth it. That submarine thing cost at least $1 trillion,
Well,
and you just
That's where the unobtainium came.
There's the interesting.
I think
it's
James
mentioned-
Cameron
it's
doesn't
mentioned
understand money
once
very
in
much.
the first act that Earth is dying.
Yeah.
And part of their whole role here, so like it's weird that like, oh, this is paying for this operation, but at the same time, like we're paying for the operation no matter what because the world apparently is going to hell.
Yeah,
And
it's just funny they threw the $80 million out like that's some insanely god number.
That's
like-
that's one of those things that I think could have been cut it down. If you cut enough of those little moments down, this movie gets 2 hours 50 minutes, and it feels a little tighter. And then you lose some of that weird exposition stuff.
Hmm.
You show it all, but yeah, I don't know. What else? Spoilers. We're still in spoilers.
I want to talk about Kiri.
Yes.
Personally, my favorite character in the movie, which is also a shame because we didn't learn everything about her, and I think that's okay
Setting
because
her up for number 3.
we don't need to know everything about her.
Yeah.
They explain what's wrong with her through human scientific terms,
It's not real. It's not.
Yeah. which is epilepsy, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's like the Quaritch thing, and then like the Sigourney Weaver bringing her back, like two things that shouldn't work
Yeah.
at all, and it's like I just really, really enjoyed. I thought her character was awesome. She gets a lot of the really water moments.
Yep.
I thought her character was super interesting in this movie. Kind of like one of the main themes being like troubled relationships in between a parent and a child. They're all different. One doesn't know who their parent is. One who knows who it is and doesn't like it, and one does not have a good relationship with their parent because they just don't understand each other.
Yeah.
I loved her story, and I'm so intrigued by the Sigourney Awa baby clone, whatever.
Kiri
Yeah.
Jesus Soli.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we deducted when Trevor and I were talking about it that he's probably, or she is probably a birth of the spirit
Yeah.
tree.
Or like
And that explains her connection with all of Pandora's nature.
Yeah, or like my thought too was maybe she's not like she when they did the transition thing in the first movie, they couldn't get the spirit into her body per se because she's like dying, so she just like put her clone spirit, whatever thing,
Yeah.
moved it and just put it
Yeah, that just wouldn't explain the connection with.
into the.
Yeah,
This is I think it's a pretty fascinating aspect. A lot of the first movie hinted at kind of that spiritual aspect. But because Jake Sully was an outsider, we never really got to see much into that. And I think this is, Cameron maybe taking a step forward into a little more spiritualness or mysticism of the world around us, and being, this is obviously very much an allegory.
Jesus allegory.
Well, I meant the movie in general.
Oh.
For like environmentalism and there's a lot of those themes in there, right? Being connected with nature versus lording over nature, and it's that step that, if we compare Avatar 1 to something like Pocahontas, we get a lot more of that spiritual stuff in Pocahontas, but not so much in Avatar. And now I think we're getting to kind of see what does that look like in this world. And I find it very interesting because it's totally opposite of what the humans are doing there. It's human stuff is all so technological and
it's just militaristic and
expansionismist. That's not a word. That's
colonizing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's
It
the
is.
very
No,
obvious overarching
absolutely.
theme is
Absolutely.
anti-colonizing, and
Yeah.
it's totally fine.
Yeah. So, I really like Kiri, and I'm, her being one of the main characters going forward I'm excited for.
I just noticed she's the main person on the main
On the poster.
poster.
Yeah.
I didn't even really notice until just now looking at it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think she is supposed to be our main character. At first, I thought it was one of the sons, but I guess not.
It just, like I kind of mentioned earlier, there's like not a main character. It's more like an ensemble group.
Yeah, the family is the main character.
Yeah.
It's all of
the
them.
unit.
And you have 3 hours and 15 minutes, so they can all get enough screen time
Yep.
to feel like main characters.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The other thing I feel like, and they don't even talk about it in the movie, it's something that honestly I feel like everybody will forget about, and I feel like it's going to have huge implications with Kiri going forward. He's just laying out there in the grass and all the AoE seeds are landing.
Oh yeah.
Which is what happens in the first movie with Jake, and they freaked out when that happened. And this one is just like, whoosh, hey, we gotta go. We're going swimming. And it's just like, I think that's a sign you should be talking about.
Yeah.
Number 3, though.
Number three.
Number 3.
How did you guys feel about I guess we kind of talked about the whaling scene.
I was sad.
I was sad. I follow up. The whales in general being a kind of the next species that we're gonna have to reckon with, and as we get into more, the whales here in our world, we don't necessarily think of them as that, and they're not at this level, right? And so I think for me it was a little strange. At least at the beginning, I didn't really understand that they were as intelligent as they were until they had that scene where everyone was together. The pod came back. The Na'vi. They're not Na'vi. What are the?
They're Na'vi.
They're Na'vi. They're a different tribe though. The water tribe Na'vi. Has this bond, and Loak has the bond with the rogue whale.
Pokun or something like that.
I just thought it was really interesting.
Metcaina.
And I thought it worked way better than I expected it to.
I thought it was really cool that, like, most of the time, it's like, here's a alien animal,
Mm-hmm.
It's cute. It's cool. It's cool looking. Like no, they're like very intelligent. Just it felt
And have
really
personalities and
Mm-hmm.
are very spiritual in themselves, and then also have like an own personal philosophy too,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought was interesting to throw that little bit in there
Mm-hmm.
of
Yep.
just their history and their own philosophy of why they act the way that they do and why they do the things that they do as higher intelligent beings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. I also, as someone who tries to follow the way of
Water.
pacifism, to have a group, an intelligent group of creatures, kind of adhere to pacifist ways, I thought was representation matters, guys. I say
Yep.
that as a white man, I know. But like it was kind of neat, and obviously, I feel conflicted about the fact that it's still okay. We're gonna solve this by violence, but
But only
just-
one.
but just having it a part of the story, I thought was interesting because normally I think people will just shy away from that in general.
Mm-hmm.
They obviously took the philosophy from Bonhoeffer,
Yeah.
and maybe the whale that's the outcast is Bonhoeffer himself.
Yeah, exactly.
If you know the story about Bonhoeffer.
I do.
Um,
I do.
But yeah, I like that quite a bit, and I liked the outcast stuff with the whale,
Mhm.
and I like that they stuck with their guns. I don't personally like it, but I like it as a story point.
Sure.
Of like you did the right thing, but that's not the way that we do things.
Yeah.
That's not how I would run things, but I think it's really cool to have that like deep down personal or group societal philosophy
Mhm.
and stick to it. So I thought all of that was done really well. And humans, I know they're not humans, but they're supposed to act and have emotions like humans,
No.
and how we would conflict with that,
Right.
and be like, why are you outcasting him? He's cared and he's done things and he's saved people. Why can't you bring him back in? And so you have that conflicting of human philosophy and views, and much deeper spiritual philosophy, which happens,
Yeah.
and I think was done really well.
Yep.
Pycon.
I do think this particular, the Way of Water does a much better job than the original Avatar in talking about kind of the how coexistence of cultures can be messy, but not that you have to subscribe wholly to one, because I feel like in the first one it was like, well, okay, no, Jake just really needs to subscribe to Navi, right? He really needs to become this. Whereas in
Navi
this,
Plus.
he's Navi Plus. He's the premium version.
You subscribe to Navi.
Whereas in this, even the water tribe Navi and the whales have their own cultures, and then you have Jake and Natiri and their family come in, and they're kind of they're experiencing this culture, and part of their belief is we have to do it like they do it, but their children are kind of flirting around the edges of how can we not lose our identity, but still fit in.
Mhm.
And I think going forward we'll see that with humans even more.
Maybe.
As the human encroachment comes, I think maybe we get to a point where there's, okay, can there be cohabitation here on Pandora with humans, and we'll have a faction of humans that are okay, but yeah, we're here for cohabitation. There's a faction that's like, no, we're here for domination. Would be my guess. My hypothesis.
I think the movie does a really good job with it has like normal tropes that it's going through, but because it's aliens, it's seen in like a different light. Like,
Yeah.
you have these kids that are dealing with being in a new place, and like in the movie, like they're aliens moving to a new tribe, but like kids everywhere can relate to
Yep.
being moved to just even a new high school, or
Yeah.
if you do move all the way across country, you lose all of your friends. Like those kind of conflicts happen, and then the parent conflict and all of that. It's all like pretty normal movie tropes that we get, but he's using them in like a bigger story. So
Yeah.
there's this bigger story happening. We're in this world that feels foreign and amazing and looks gorgeous, but we're also having these tropes and feelings and emotions that are like small and personal. That like, yeah. So I think all that's done really well, and that's why I like the family aspect so much. Is because it's doing all of these smaller things in this big movie, which it wouldn't have to.
Yeah.
It could just be about a war about the Na'vi and the humans, like the first one was, but this one decided to do a little bit different.
Yep.
That's where I think it branches off from the first one. Is they're much more of a cool family dynamic and just, like I said, kid tropes that are done really well.
Yeah.
I think I really liked how this movie feels better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Then the first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like the
no,
first
so.
one is big giant war takes place where I feel like they moved more sideways and told the more personal story. Like there's still a big old battle at the end.
Well, and you still have the first scene of the, not the first scene, it's probably like 30
The
minutes
train
in.
heist or whatever.
Well, yeah, you have the big war there, but also just them coming in general when the stars come back,
Oh yeah.
the humans, and it
Oh,
just
yeah,
burns down
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
miles and miles. So you still see like the magnitude of the situation real quick. But then yeah, and then it switches to something more like me versus you, vendetta, like hunting
Yeah.
down, much more of a personal battle, which
Yeah.
I do think is an issue writing wise, but I think it was good story wise.
Yeah.
Because
I just feel like you always get like, all right, this is where the first one ended, so we need bigger ships, bigger guns, bigger
Sure.
explosions.
bigger war, more
And
people.
you always get less interesting stories.
Yeah.
And this one was like, no, we're gonna have this family like on the run, and they're gonna like not really understand each other, figure each other out.
We're gonna have a conflict, but it's gonna be kind of this elite tactical squad that's commandeered a boating vessel,
Yeah.
and it's
Mhm.
it's not the Skybeam and the world is in danger. No, it's this family is in danger.
Yeah. Which, like I said, writing wise, I have some issues with that
Sure.
because the whole world is still at danger.
Yeah.
And we're just dealing with this small group of people that aren't really making a change in this overarching battle. And I think there's also some character stuff that I really disliked in the first 30 minutes that you just kind of have to accept to finish the movie, which I do, and still enjoy the rest of the movie. But it was always in the back of my head of like their motivations and how easily they gave up and moved on, and how much of a contrast that was from the original.
I liked that because he saw how like many people died that he knew in that first war, and now he has a whole different perspective because he got kid, wife. Before he only had one person. Well, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But I think that's a shot at his character, and I don't like that. Like I wanted him, like I like him being this one that's wanting to save others and be this
Does he
leader and a man, but instead he decides to forego all of that for just 5 people instead of the millions of other Na'vi that are getting murdered in the forest.
But
without his
the
leadership.
entire plan of bad Na'vi boys, Quaritch and the gang, was don't have Sully continue to start an uprising. So they send him after him. He leaves, so there's no uprising.
Guys, you know what this reminds me of? You're gonna hate me.
Oh no.
It reminds me of Luke in The Last Jedi.
Yeah, kind of.
It's him saying, if I remove myself from the conflict,
There will be no conflict.
there will be no or less conflict. My people will be safe.
Yeah.
Which is obviously not true, but we also don't see that. Like, I think the movie, it wants us to assume that, like, at least, while the conflict has moved from the forest Na'vi to somewhere else, right? It's moved to them.
the conflict
they're
in the
just hunting him.
Well, but the conflict in the forest is still happening. They just don't show us.
Right.
Which is why I mean that it's just a little writing stuff that I dislike. But.
Sure. But it's just interesting that I think I made that. I just had to bring Last Jedi into it. Is really all it was.
You sure you don't want that crate?
No,
Poster?
I'm good with Hoth.
Are you sure it's not from The Last Jedi?
I know.
I know we've been going for 2 hours, so
Yeah.
I didn't get to say my only con.
Okay.
Not really a con. And it's mainly because I love spending time with the kids, but I feel like you don't spend as much time with Natiri. the best character in the first movie.
They
The
did
best
her,
actor in the first movie.
they did her
She's
dirty.
awesome in this movie too when she's on screen.
Yeah.
But she's not in it that much, and that was a shame.
They really did both Sam and Zoe.
I don't
really
think
dirty
they
in
did.
this one.
I don't think they did Jake Sully's character dirty.
I-
I think he has a lot. He interacts with the kids a lot more.
I don't mean with how much he was on screen. I mean his character as a
Oh,
his actual
yeah.
character.
Like Natiri's like cutting carrots. It's just like okay, like, and then then she's in the last battle. I was like, this is what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think I could have used as much as we get Jake being a father figure, right? I wish we had gotten more of Natiri being a mother.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with them having different roles in this film and doing different things, because I think the film and the series is pivoting
to the kids.
to the kids.
Yeah. And I think that just they purposely knew this. We're doing 6 of these movies. This is going to be more about these kids than
Yeah.
it will be the mom and the dad.
These two will have their arc, but
and then
we
there's
going
going to be something past them.
One of them's
Yeah,
gotta die in
and-
the next one, right?
Yeah,
Oh, for sure.
And
Yeah.
I think the problem was then they both became one-dimensional characters.
Yeah.
That were just there for the kids to progress their story
Mm.
and nothing past that.
Yeah, and it stinks, but honestly, I'll take it because I freaking love the kids. I think they're
Yeah,
awesome.
I don't disagree with you. I just don't like the one. You didn't have to make them both one dimensional. Like you didn't have to make Sam just this overprotecting, not non-caring, but like strict father that won't listen to his sons because he thinks they're beneath him or whatever. And then
Jarhead in 'em.
yeah, and then the mom just being like literally just a background character until she goes like nuts mom
Yeah.
multiple times, like
Yeah.
just hysterical mother on 3 scenes, and that's basically all you get of her.
Yeah.
Of when she's going, you took my child, or you killed my child.
I will find you. And
Yeah.
I will kill you.
Yeah. And the hysterical
going
cry,
full
and just
Liam
like the overly hysterical crying and stuff. They just played into it a lot, and it just made both of them one dimensional.
Yeah.
Dude, the bit where she stabs a dude in the face with the arrow and then proceeds to shoot the arrow through his face.
Through the person,
Just
yeah,
like, oh my god!
yeah.
Whoa!
Oh.
She's mad.
Those arrows
awesome.
are just sick. I love
Dude, they're
every.
like as big as my face.
Yes.
That would hurt so bad.
Yeah,
like a
You would be dead.
Well,
Le-
I hope
legit-
so. I don't want to go through that.
yeah, legit Legolas level arrow.
The
Play.
last thing we have to talk about is they did kill off one of the kids,
Mm-hmm.
the eldest son, which kind of paves the path for the outlaw, the
The outcast.
the
Yeah.
outcast.
His name's Loak.
Loak. For Loak to have a little bit more of an arc. How at this point I'm now not convinced that he won't come back just because of what they did in this movie, but at the same time I do feel like it was
Homie got swallowed up by Awa seaweed, so I don't know.
no, he probably is not, and to be honest, I hope not.
I hope not. There needs to be some
Um,
weight. You can't have
exactly. But
6
it did,
movies and
it
have
did
no.
feel to me it felt like it had weight.
Yeah, I know.
that
But if they
moment.
bring them back, is what I'm saying.
I know.
Then there's, you feel like you've losing it. But yeah, I was not expecting the death at all.
Yeah.
I was expecting Jake to die.
Yeah, I didn't
Mm,
expect
Like
any
that's the
of.
one you assume.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't expect any of the kids that were going to die. But if there was going to be one, it makes the most sense that it was him.
Yes.
But yeah, I was a little shocked. I mean, when the scene happened, I knew right away,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't know that he was going to necessarily die from it.
I really appreciated how his death was done too.
Yeah.
Not necessarily it was pretty similar how Grace is killed, where it's like stray bullet kind of thing.
It's not.
But how, not as much as Grace.
It's not.
Yeah,
It's not.
It's
like
not a stray
it's not
bullet.
like
They
an-
were aiming at him and
Yeah,
shooting at
right,
him.
right. But it's not like an execution style.
No,
type
no,
thing
no,
either.
yeah.
But more like he's dying, and they didn't have him do I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. No, he's just like he freaking died.
I mean, he got shot through the heart. I
Yeah.
mean, You don't
his
have a lot of
eyes,
time.
go full dilate, and he's
Mhm.
freaking dead. And I was
Yeah.
thank you for not giving him a goodbye moment, because we get way too many of those.
Yep.
Got 4 in the last episode of Willow. So.
and just cringy dialogue around it.
show.
Yeah. I'm glad too. He was just more of in shock,
Yeah.
Mhm.
which is good. It's realistic.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. And it also explains why there were Baroque Brandon in the chat says, I figured a kid would die simply because there were so many. Wasn't sure which one it would
I
be.
thought it was gonna be Tuck,
I
the littlest
That-
one.
yeah.
well, yeah.
I feel like they don't.
when they had the
don't have
little one
balls
in
for
there,
it.
I was like, I wonder if it's because
can't
the
believe
bigger
I'm
one's
captured
going
again.
away.
Freaking love that little.
the one
inside him again.
that was the one Marvel line in the whole movie.
It's that James Cameron dialogue, baby.
Gold is what that is.
Hey, it made me laugh. I'll take it.
No, yeah, it wasn't bad.
Yeah. Any final thoughts before we wrap it up here? We are over our 2 hours.
Yeah, I know.
So
Yeah, we went a long time.
it's a long movie, so there's a lot to talk about.
My bad, guys.
No.
We're good.
Shh. It's not our first time over 2 hours.
I hope I have time to see it in IMAX again because I want to take advantage of it being.
Gemma heard us get loud, so she's concerned about us.
Hello, doggy. I want to take advantage of it being in IMAX because I didn't get to see the first one in IMAX till 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And
Wanna see it
some dumb superhero movie is gonna come and bump it out.
Hey, you have till Ant-Man, right?
Do I?
Well, probably. Yeah, probably. I want to see this in 2D.
See what it's
I want to see
without the frame rate.
I want to see what it looks like in 24
Oh,
frames
so
per
you
second.
watch this in 3D?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
3D's so sexy.
okay. Well, then you might understand some of the stuff I was talking about a little bit more if you see it in 2D.
2D.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
just the
very
video
curious
game
what the
cutscene stuff.
difference is.
Yeah, because I watched
How
this
it
in
feels.
just standard Dolby.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
and
I
I'm not joking. It felt like 50% of the movie was a video game cutscene. So I wonder if it's
I wonder though. Let's see. This is
maybe not literally.
AMC.
Maybe
Anyways,
more
we
like
should
25%.
we should wrap this up.
Yeah.
But I'm curious. I'm gonna look at that. Here in a
They have
minute.
3D.
I know, but some projectors, newer projectors, can do higher frame rate even in 2D. So you
Gotcha.
still could have been at 48 frames
Oh,
per second.
oh yeah. No, it was much higher than 30 frames.
Okay, see,
or 24 frames per second.
All the other West
Yeah.
Regal theaters outside of the IMAX only show it in 24 frames per second.
Which I think
Gotcha.
is a very smart idea.
So I want to see what that looks like and just compare
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think
So-
if the only reason it should be in 48 is if you're in 3D.
3D.
Yeah. I don't know what the actual frame rates were. I just know that things looked
It's
very rough, and I didn't really think about frame rates until my co-host said something about it,
Mhm.
and I'm like, that could definitely be why it looks that
I
way.
think it's just the action scenes.
Oh yeah, no,
are at
it's
48.
yeah,
Um,
and even just sometimes when they're flying around and stuff, like it just looks like a just looks like a cutscene in a video game of these two people are flying together to get to their next location.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, I want to thank Easton for coming on and being our special guest this week.
Yep. Sorry, Tyler
Um,
couldn't be here. I do want to hear his
yeah.
Way of Water,
Yes.
the Way of Water thoughts.
Hopefully,
I have no idea what those will be.
hopefully when we get back from when we get
Christmas.
Christmas.
back from Christmas, he'll be able to at least give a little bit of an update on he's seen it and give us a bit
He'll be able
of
to give an update on a lot of
review.
stuff.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed.
Give us an update on that leg. Are you walking?
Is it still attached?
That's
Do
a
you
good-
have a robot leg?
That's a good question.
That's
That's
what
a better
I want to
question.
know. Until next week, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll see ya.
Thanks for being awesome.